Camera check. Looks like it's working. Audio check. No idea. About to build some computers. I guess I'll move this over here. I'll start building stuff. Make sure you guys have a decent enough view. If I'm building, I might as well have people join me whilst building. Let's see here. Make sure everything is working. I'm going to be building two machines today, I guess, technically, in a sense. Yeah, so we'll just see. That thumbnail is not correct. Let's do some quick tweaks here before we get started. Content. Live from Miami. It's Saturday night on. Try this. Personal. Sort by date. Did I take a picture? There we go. Good enough. Crude thumbnail for now. Fix it later. Okay, that's good. One more thing. And I'll start building, and I will just make sure we're good here. I have my phone up. Looks like it is working. I'm doing this on a laptop now, so I want to make sure that it's actually going to work. Normally I do it on my desktop, but I don't have a desktop because I have two of them in front of me. Okay, good enough. Looks like it's working. A little bit of latency, but it's no big deal. So I have two computers that I'm going to be building, kind of. This was my, whatever. One of these was my previous computer. Where are you guys? One of these was my previous computer, which was an Intel 12th gen. And it didn't really have any like static GPU. I was just swapping them constantly for test purposes. I picked up a 7900 XTX AMD, which is, I mean, the price I paid, around $1,000, is the best value GPU on the market, realistically. You know, you're obviously getting between 4080 Super, 4090 performance, and less than a third of it, like around a third of the cost of a 4090, realistically new. So anyways, I decided to basically take my system. It's going to a friend of a friend. They're also getting a 7900 XTX, so I'm doing some move arounds here. They're going to get a 7900 XTX. I'm going to get a 7900 XTX. The difference is they're going to get an Intel 12900K, and I'm going to get a 7950 X3D. Oh, sorry, not an X3D, 7950X. I don't even know where it is. So I'm going to start building stuff. And yeah, so this is the first machine, which I've been using recently. MSI Tomahawk Z790 Wi-Fi, I guess it would be. 12900K, you can see right there. It has thermal paste on it. It's actually PTM 7950, and I'm just basically going to put that in there. They don't want any storage, and they have RAM already, so that's going to go into this case here. I've just been fiddling around with stuff. Then they're going to get a 7900 XTX. This is my 7900 XTX, which is a Red Devil one I just picked up. I'm going to get theirs real quick. I'll be right back. And I'm back. You like that air cooler? Ed Bailey, hello. Yeah, that's my favorite air cooler. It's very hard to get in North America because the company was banned. It is a Cooler Master? Yeah. Stealth IV, which is, in my opinion, one of the best air coolers around. This was, if you guys follow my YouTube, yeah, Iron Maiden, I'll go over it in 1 sec, because I'm building two. I'm going to like repeat a little bit in the beginning because people will pop in. These were on, if you guys follow my YouTube, I posted this here yesterday and I think 2 days ago. Price errors. These were price errors. So 7900 XTX for $1,000 Canadian dollars, brand new in box from Amazon, which is a price error straight up. These are like $1,500 MSRP, and on sale they're like $13. By far the cheapest 7900 XTX I've ever seen. So a lot of people on YouTube, I guess, picked them up. Obviously, I was one of them. I got one here. This is not going to be mine. This is going to be for a friend of a friend. But I also have one as well. So I have a Red Devil one that I picked up like last week. So I have two 7900 XTXs. My system, I'll go over my system because mine's the AMD, all AMD. So I'm going to have a 7950X, which I've had in the past many times. I just flip systems too much. I've decided I'm just going to like make my AMD system, just leave it. It's easy for me to switch out GPUs for GPU testing, but I like to have a semi-static system. So 7950X, could have got the 3D, but the 7950X is amazing. One of the nice things about this is it can run hot, but what you can do is basically put it into like balanced eco mode, which runs at 105 watts instead of whatever, unlocked, and you only lose like 3 to 4% performance, which is crazy, especially for an air cooler. Is my audio good, by the way? I have my mic a little bit further away because I'm trying to build around it. Hey, it's Jack. Yeah, Jack also has one of these. He picked up one of these too. You can see that there. So many people did. Everybody on my YouTube is just picking up these price error 7900 XTXs. But I imported this from the US, the Red Devil. Actually, Jack, he's in the chat. We were doing a bit of a swap back and forth, but I'm going to be in the US in the coming year for a little while. And it's just easier for MSI. If there's any like RMA type stuff, that's located in Canada. So he got the MSI and I got the Red Devil because they're in the US, MSI's in Canada. So we were doing some swaps. No 4090. I tried, man. I tried to buy a 4090 today, but it's sold out. Someone called in like 3 seconds before I did. Okay, so let's get this started. This is going to be my computer, which is literally my computer. I'm just taking it apart. It'll be air cooler. Cooler Master Stealth IV, which is the best air cooler in my opinion you can get. It is a gigantic obelisk, but it has a silent mode that runs really cool, and it's easily able to cool this 7950X under balanced eco mode. So there's full wattage mode, there's balanced eco mode, and there's like really, really eco mode. If you watch Gamers Nexus, they did a full test of it. The balanced eco mode, 105 watts, you lose like no performance whatsoever. That's my system. I have a motherboard that's over there, which I will grab. I like to show things. My office is a disaster because I was going to clean it and do other things, but I was like, you know what? It's going to get bad during that. Power supply, 1000 watt MSI A1000GL, my favorite. This system is also getting an MSI 1000G non-L, which is like a year older. You can see that there. It's basically the same system. Basically the same power supply, just I actually don't know the difference between the two of them. My system is going to get unfortunately Asus. So when this blows up and I need to claim warranty, they'll probably give me the middle finger and tell me to go die in a ditch, but that's fine. X670p Wi-Fi. It's also a refurb, so that's fun. This will probably blow up, but it's AMD. I got it for like incredibly cheap. And actually, this motherboard here was a refurb directly from MSI. So I actually had an issue. I sent it in, and they sent me back a brand new one. So this is a brand new refurb MSI, and from MSI directly, and so is the power supply. So they're actually brand new, which is awesome. What better AIO? Our AIO. I actually have an AIO coming for this system, the Intel one, because I'm going to be shipping this computer to somebody, and sending this obelisk, it made me nervous. I was just like, this thing's going to get smashed. It's going to tilt off in the shipping, and it's going to get damaged. So I've ordered an AIO. It'll come from Amazon probably in the middle of the stream, and I'll put it in here, so that's fine. I'm going to use air, though. Oh my god, there's so many people here all of a sudden. Thanks for showing up. I don't even know. 14. Uzui IRL. Thank you for that. CC, you love me, I love you. No, the Noctua one I think is slightly too tall for this case. This is a fractal pop air standard, and I think that this thing sits like right at the glass. I think the DH is like a tiny bit too large. Yeah, this thing's gonna be a mess for cable management. Okay, so I'll start popping things in. This is like hard to film. You can see this computer, yeah. So this is the computer that's going to the friend of the friend. So I'll get my crap out of here. This is my favorite motherboard, by the way, on the market. This is the Intel version. There's also an AMD version. The MSI, I love MSI. Jack can attest they have very good warranties, at least in North America, very good warranties. And it's just a good board. This is the Z790 for Intel Tomahawk. It supports 1, 2, 3, 4 NVMe. Actually, I took this off here, which is really nice. Not that everyone needs that many. It doesn't have Gen 5 NVMe's, not that that matters. Some people may care about that. This one does not have that, unfortunately. So, oh, the screws vanished off the face of the earth. There it is. So, Anders is here, Jack is here, Jar Jar is here, Forge is here, Brackus, Forge is here. I like my GPU power disconnected, not burned. Yeah, I don't know. I've used the 12 volt high power, but I haven't really, actually I've had two 4090s and I used them briefly, but I was like, this is too much power. And then, I don't know, I went to like every different GPU. I've owned every single GPU this generation other than the 7600 XT or whatever, like the higher VRAM one, and the 4060 Ti higher VRAM one. I've owned every other GPU, literally every single other GPU model, which is dumb, but that's what I do. Tough gaming motherboard. Actually, there was a tough on refurb as well. Jack, I was talking to Jack. I know Jack in real life. I know most of you, a lot of you guys, but Jack's actually in my region, and I told him I was going for a refurb board, and he texted me back and he said that board has bent pins because of the way that they described it. So I was like, all right, dodge that bullet. So especially with that would be physical damage technically. I don't even know if they would cover that. 6800 is a very good GPU still. 16 gigabytes VRAM, go burr, or so they say. Look at that. Look at that integrated I/O shield. Look at MSI doing things. Hey, Burnsy joined me. Burnsy joined me partially to support the channel. Thank you, by the way. But really because he wants access to my dank emojis so that he can post them when I literally fry this in the middle of a stream. I guess you can see that. You'll have to kind of... It'll be a weird angle, I'm sorry, for a lot of this stuff because I have two computers that I'm building. $359, that must be American for the 6800. That's crazy. Even Canadian, even American, that's a good price. To be honest, that's like 500 Canadian dollars, new especially. Even now, that's probably lower than market used. Oh, yeah, oh my God. In 2022, I bought... So I don't know if, like, my lore on my channel is weird. So I started during like COVID lockdown making my channel, blah, 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 blah. I bought a 3070 machine that I got from Dell, used it for a while, and I don't know, I didn't like it. It was so hot. Then I ended up going to Memory Express here in Canada, and I got a 3070 machine, but their requirement was you couldn't buy just the GPUs, which makes sense because people were going to mine them or scalp them. So I bought a bunch of parts off them, and I was like, listen, I can build it myself, but I'll just buy all the parts. They were fine. So I bought the 3070. Then someone on Facebook posted that they wanted to change a 3070 for a 6900 XT, which is a vastly more powerful GPU, obviously. And it was way more expensive at the time. But it wasn't as good for mining because it wasn't as efficient. I was like, obviously, what am I, stupid? So I changed that, and that started my AMD adventure all over again. So I used that for... Actually, that was probably the longest GPU I've used in recent times. I used that for like a year and a half. And then I got Intel Arc, actually. I sold my higher one, went down the stack to Intel Arc, and used Intel to basically get my channel monetized, doing Intel Arc videos. And then ever since then, I've just been switching GPUs like a disease. Yeah, like this guy wanted the 3070 for 6900 XT. At the time, the 6900 XT was... Honestly, it was like $1,800. It was crazy. It was like $1,800 to buy one. And I was like, obviously, yes. Like, what am I? I'm not actually insane. I will take that GPU. So this is a Fractal Pop Air, basically stock. Everything's gonna be fine. I have nicely, because I'm a good guy, put in a what are these called? What the hell is this thing called again? Support bracket? That's not the right term. CPU frame. You just got your... Oh, Burnsy got his XTX. Burnsy has been another person that I know. he has been chasing the 4090 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But he's also like me. He's like a budget gamer because he's like, there's a point of like, all right, am I really spending that much more money? He, however, does use VR. I do not use VR. But these XTXs are just such a good price. I told him, like, just get one and use it for now. I mean, if it doesn't meet your requirements, you know, you can probably sell it at cost because it's a price error. And so I'm slowly corrupting everybody to go AMD. The best part is I have a stack of NVIDIA beside me. 3080 Ti, 2080 Ti, 1080 Ti, 1660 Ti, which I'm going to be doing a video on all of them, covering all the TIs. Yeah. You know what? The 4090 might be budget in 10 years. The hardest thing to find in my office, by the way, is paper towel. I'm like scared that I'm going to like have paper towel destroy my stream and people are going to be like, look at this paper towel. Look what he does. So that I cannot be accused of shenanigans, the paper towel is not sitting in my room at any time. Hey, it's Ferdinand. Ferdinand the Great. Subscriber train. Subscriber train? I'm also like the worst streamer because I've done it like 7 times and all the interface is overwhelming to me. I'm doing it with a camera this time. Last time I did it with my phone, that was a nightmare. First of all, it was really bad resolution. I'm doing it in 1080p so that I can get 60. Later, I'm going to switch cameras and use my DJI because the DJI can do 4K 60. This is a Meet. It does 4K 30. So I'm just going 1080p. You guys don't need to see the back of my head in 4K anyways. Look at that. Look at that 12900 that I bought local for a good price. 12900K. It's like the highest Intel you can get without having to risk CPU failure at some point. Which AIO am I putting in the build? In Intel, it's getting a thermal, not thermal, right? Jeez. Blah, 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 blah. What the hell is it called? Thermal rate is not the right term. Cooler master. Oh, God, hold on one second. I bought these things like 5 times. It's the thermal. Oh, it's thermal rate. Yeah, thermal rate not. That's what it is. Ooh, it's on my front porch. I'll be right back. Yeah. Let's go get it. So Mr. Jack in the chat, Jack Chat, got me into this brand for good, low-cost AIOs, and Gamers Nexus agrees with Mr. Jack, so that's good enough for me. A PC builder and a YouTuber agree. Thermal rate is incredibly good value for what they are. Rather than getting like the cheapest one this time, I went up the stack slightly because this is going to somebody else. So I'm not going to cheap out, and it's someone that I know. I only scam family. So this is going to them. So I decided to get the slightly higher one. Should fit nicely in the system. Where did you guys go? I lost you. I lost you. There you are. You're back. Yeah, Bernsey, this is your friends here. This is your friends here. I decided to switch it around. I was just going to like slot it in. But I'm swapping like so many parts. This case is in better condition than that case. My case is all dented. This is my previous case actually here that I bought from Memory Express. So he's gonna get my case because the one that I have is all dented. And yeah, I'm not gonna send your friend a dented case. Like this one's new. It even has the like all the GPU stuff in there. I actually never used it, so that way I don't have to send him something that's broken. And be like, hey, look, man. Here's a busted ass case. And the cable management was horrible because it was just my system. I never care. I'm just doing 240. This is only a 2 fan. Oops, that got covered. Who said that? Iron Maiden. Yeah, that's the one negative of the Fractal Pop Air. It's kind of strange because it has a spot for two here, and then because there's this I/O up here. They could easily fit more, but they'd have to just make the mesh longer. But I guess they were just like, no, screw y'all. Yeah, you can tune in. Watch me break his computer on live, and then pretend I didn't break it, and then there's video evidence to convict me. Fractal Meshify C. Yeah, it's strange. Like, there's such nice cases, these Fractal Meshify and Pop Air, but they could easily have a 3-fan. The 12900, as crazy as it sounds, being an i9, is actually not that hot. 13th is where it got hotter. The 13700 runs way hotter than the 12900, I find. And then you get into the 14th gen. So honestly, this chip will be more. Like this air cooler was enough, no problem. It wasn't throttling at all. So liquid cooling is it's going to be safer to ship to him. It's a better product. It's under warranty. Like, he can, if something goes wrong, it's not Cooler Master. He can actually claim warranty. All right. So if this thing breaks, he's gonna be screwed. I'll feel bad. So system ASMR from Telepathic Dragon. If you're so telepathic, what am I thinking? Yeah. Okay. No one else is talking because everyone has lost interest in me. Frozen not today. This is, I have not used this specific model. I have used slightly lower SKUs of the Thermalright. Thermalright offers, frankly, insane value, realistically. So this guy, he does not need, actually let's do the power supply first. He does not need RAM because he has RAM. He does not need storage because he has storage. He does need a CPU and a cooler. And he does need a power supply. So we will give him one. You fell asleep from my ASMR. I have the least ASMR voice, though. My voice is mid to high. My YouTuber voice, at least, is mid to high. When I talk low, my voice goes down slightly. But even my bass voice is, I would say, high. High to nasal. And I talk fast. And I'm obnoxious. Yeah, I mean, Intel's going to have a comeback. I'm not like a fanboy, to be honest. But I am a shitlord. Which means if a company does bad, they get my shit. They get my shit. But I want every company to do well so that they can all compete with each other and prices can go down. Intel hasn't been worth buying since 12th gen, in my opinion. I've had many Intel systems since then. 13700 was a fantastic CPU, but the risk is just too high. I actually really like the 13700. It's a very good CPU, realistically. It's just the risk. But if you're buying them new now, I guess they've had a microcoat. But the 12 series is just safe. The 12900K runs basically the same as the 13700, realistically, on paper. So buy the 12900 if you can get it on sale. Same socket. You can upgrade down the road. Isla, ooh, you also subscribe. Now you have access to the shitty memes, emojis. But yeah, anyways, back to your point. AMD is a safe CPU. I was actually talking to the people in the chat, and I was like, should I get the 9000 series AMD, which is like horrible value compared to this one. But I was like, it's for YouTube. This will be my primary YouTube CPU. Like, it just gives me that like new CPU kind of thing. But they were like, yeah, that's dumb, because you're going to pay for like the 9950X and you're going to pay 900 Canadian dollars. Or you can get the 7950X, which is 5% slower, and save 30% money. So I listened to my conscience, which is other people, and I did not buy the new one. I bought the old one, which I've had before. It's fantastic. This is, well, you're asking me a question. I still use old PS. 80 plus white. Back in the day, I used to rock that. Honestly, yeah. I mean, power supplies, like, what is their warranty? Like, a decent brand is like 10 years. I mean, and that's warranty. So, I mean, a lot of the times you can just rock these power supplies forever. The one, I guess, limitation now, theoretically, if you want to go with like a super clean build, is the ATX power stuff. If you don't want to run the multi-cable stuff. Oh my god, it's so sticky. It's like ceramic desks. They just adhere when I move stuff. Anyways, yeah, then you have to get the like adapters, which is a little messy, but that's okay. When the 5090 comes out and takes 12 times ATX power, it's going to be messy again anyways. I think it actually takes two, the two new 5090. It's going to take two ATX 12 volt high power. It's so dumb. It defeats the whole purpose. 100 plus super chat? What does that mean? I can't see anything. Did someone give me a super chat? I see nothing. I see no... Did you just send me $100, Burnsy? Is that what you're saying? You better not have. Oh, fuck, I was going to say, Jesus. I'm like sending you stuff right now. You already bought stuff off me. Burnsy is my primary purchaser. Isla being probably second. Jack probably being third. I swear there was someone else in here. Who was it? Ferdy is in here. He's actually getting up there. So I sell a lot of my stuff to like people who are in chat. I'm just like corrupt. And what I do is I tell them, if you want to be part of like my Discord, or our community Discord, you have to buy things off me or I'll ban you. I don't actually say that, but I could. Yeah. It's surprising that like the most support is just people buying stuff that I sell for cheap. It actually is very helpful because I buy most of the stuff and it gets very, very expensive. Power switch. Can I do this blindly? I think it's these two right here. Okay, so that's that there. YouTube takes 45% of the super chat. Holy shit. That's a lot, actually. You don't send me super chats unless it's like not taking 45%. That seems crazy. You can just like honestly use the money, subscribe to YouTube Premium, and then just like play my videos in the back. This is such a small. This came with it. It's like empty. What the hell? Oh no, this is from something else. Where did this come from? This Thermalright. I must have pulled it out of my drawer. That's fine. I have more. Yeah, use the money a lot of the time that you would send for a super chat. Subscribe to YouTube Premium, because anytime you watch people with YouTube Premium, they get money, boosts up their numbers, and you get access to not advertisements. That's my take. I use YouTube Premium because I know that everybody I watch then gets money. I don't need to worry about ad blockers. I'm supporting everybody, and I can. I don't have to worry about like third-party apps and stuff. Yeah, actually, yeah, 45%. I guess like little super chats are nice, probably because I think they like do things to your algorithm, just like a buck or whatever. And then, you get 45 cents or I guess 65 cents or whatever, 55 cents. And I guess that's good for like numbers, but like I don't know, yeah, sending huge amounts is crazy. I guess if you're rich. I donate sometimes to people, and on Twitch I have like a Twitch Prime, which I sub to one person, and then when I sub, I actually give them more money. Like I give them another free sub, Retro Guy D Forte, just because he's such a good person, such a good streamer on top of that, that I want to give them like real subs rather than Amazon subs. This is the thickest freaking paste. Holy crap. This is TF. So I use Thermalright. I have Noctua here, but I'm giving him the good stuff. Thermalright TF8, which is my favorite paste. It's very thick though. Which is really nice because I use laptops. Nowadays I just use PTM because I'm like an addict to it. But this stuff is really good for like laptops and stuff. You switch a lot because it's thick. It doesn't dry out very easily. Very high thermal conductivity. And because it's thick, it doesn't spread out as much when you put on low mounting pressure stuff such as laptops. So I just find that it's very effective. And I found it to just generally work better and less maintenance. I would love to do liquid metal, Jack, but I would know that I would fry it. When I have my permanent setup, like as I'm moving from here in Canada down to the US for a year, and then I'm coming back to Canada because I'm Canadian, just so you guys know. But I will be in the US for a year. So I'm like a nomad. Like I don't have a true YouTube like lab. That's why my stuff is always like filmed at this desk, because there's no point in setting something up and then moving. So eventually I'll have cool projects like that, but for now it's just very difficult for me. Could you put the thermal paste under the CPU? I was going to. But I heard that putting the thermal paste under on the pins makes it fast, really fast, and I don't want it to be too fast because then his computer will be better than mine. PTM. So you can watch my PTM video, Iron Maiden. This is the LTT crap. I have a video on that. I also do the eBuy7, which you import from China. I've been using this for years. There's apparently some okay Amazon sellers and eBay sellers. PTM is amazing. Just watch my videos. I do it on like everything. I highly recommend getting PTM. It's expensive, I will warn you. But if you're North American, at least you can use the LTT stuff, which just makes it easier, I guess. It's no cheaper, but it makes it easier. I actually have no idea how to mount this. I've never used Intel with a liquid cooler before, ever. That's obviously LGA 1700. Tempted as I am to just watch the entire stream or really go to finish. Oh, go do your homework, man. Otherwise, you'll get in trouble from me anyways. What the hell is this thing? It's weird. Like, does that... Such a strange looking... This is such a strange cooler. I've actually never seen anything like this before. Such a weird cooler. Imagine if he... Honestly, Jack, I've done similar. I built a bunch of parts. I did a, not Wish, Temu. I did a Temu collab. And I built a bunch of stuff. I don't think I was supposed to open that. I built some stuff off Temu. I didn't get a lot. I got all... They have some name brand stuff on Temu as well. And I got like the... what did I get from Temu? I got the case, which was just a legit case. And some other stuff as well. It was all legit, to be honest. But I don't know if I'd buy like an AIO or something like that. Just like either super loud or something. It's just random. But they do have some name brand stuff too. So that was fine. This is going to be a massive pain in the ass. Okay, I get it now. So that has to go on there and then the pump has to go on. That's really stupid. The pump has a thing, which is really weird. Like, look at this. Look at this book. It's like, it skips a step. It's like Intel. So you put on these little things and then it's just there. It's just there, which is weird. It's because I guess it skips a step, right? Like it wants me to mount the cooler to the this little circular thing, but it doesn't tell you how to do it. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? It's so strange. Because this is just a circle thing with the AIO. This is brass knuckles. This is brass knuckles. Like, obviously this goes on here, right? Obviously. I guess this way. And probably that way. It's just... Oh, it just clicks in. Come on! Then what the heck are these things? This is such a strange thing. I don't get it. That must be AMD. That must be an AMD. And then this is Intel? It's gotta be. I could read the instructions, but I'm live, so let's not do that. That's fine. I guess they just didn't put it on there. Because if you're going to do Intel or AMD. Okay, so that's going to go on there. I think I'm going to... Which way do I want to run this? So that's going to be there. That's going to look horrible. So I'm going to run it from the front. Yeah, we'll do it that way. That'll go on, I suppose, like that. Yep, that's how we'll do it. This is going to be the hardest part. I should be doing it vertical, not vertical, horizontal, but then you can't see what I'm doing. And this way you can watch me struggle, which is more fun. Geez, this is actually going to be like legitimately hard. All right, so these stupid things go on. I might actually have to set this down for a second. Or like tape it. 3, 4. How did I want to do that again? Now I can't remember. To the left. Oh, it's so difficult. Stay there. I only have one hand in the front. Here, you know what? I'm going to use Newtonian physics. Oh, jeez, stay. Please stay. Please stay. Please stay. It's not Newtonian physics at all. I got it. Oh yeah. All price hour. That was the server, Isla. Remember the server? Remember the price error server that I bought? That was a price error. Like, actually, though. That was actually the hardest to mount CPU cooler I've ever done. I'm amazed that that worked. It is such a strange design. And normally this brand is actually very easy to mount. The other one that I used, it was super easy to mount. So, I don't know, is that even on the freaking chip, I guess? We'll find out when it runs at 115 degrees instantly. $20,000 server for two. It was 3K, but yeah, very close. And I stole the storage out of it as well. That was awesome. Okay, I think that is touching the CPU. I don't actually know. I've never used this one before. We'll find out, honestly, if it throttles immediately. Hello, Bo. Any thoughts about the new RTX 5080 and 5090 leaks? How much VRAM do you think they will have? Okay, I am not super sure. The 5090 does look incredibly powerful, so it's going to be a huge uplift. The problem is, I'm not exaggerating. I think it's going to be 5,000 Canadian dollars to buy, like actually. MSRP will be probably 3,000, which is about a $500 to $600 increase. But it's not going to be available. It's going to be bought up by all the AI bros and, you know, people overseas and running servers and things like that. So I think it's going to be unbelievably expensive. Probably, yeah, they might have 30 gigabytes plus VRAM because that's what they're selling it for. The 5090 is moving more and more into, the 90 is moving more and more into like an AI thing. That kind of workflow. So adding more VRAM, you know, means nothing to them. It's so cheap, and that's not what consumers buy. The 5080 is where I'm worried. If they can increase, 16 gigabytes is insufficient for a 5080. It was borderline insufficient for a 4080. Not really, but like getting there. The 4080 is still good. But it's like, I would prefer to have more. Like 20 gigabytes on the 7900 XT, for example, which is a weaker GPU. But if they can get the 5080 up to 20 gigabytes or above with those little like 3 gigabyte modules or whatever they're called, I think it's going to be pretty good, actually. And I think that NVIDIA is separating the 90 from the consumer market. And I think people need to realize that. They don't care. Like, NVIDIA makes so much money off of AI. They don't give a shit about us anymore. I mean, they never did. But they give a shit even less. But I think people need to realize that, you know, getting into the Halo stuff from NVIDIA is just going to be a very bad idea from now on. Unless it's a generation old, right? That's how you can get into it. But I think people are going to start to have to target the 80 series. And AMD is not really going in there. They might be in and around the 80 series. But I think realistically they're going to be competing more at the like upper 70, like with the 5070, 5070 Ti, 5070 Ti Super, whatever they are. They're not really going for the 80 or 90, especially not the 90. And I don't know, they probably could in terms of raster, but it doesn't make sense. Like, people are just going to buy the NVIDIA 90s because, first of all, they don't depreciate. You can always scalp them to some like server bro down the road. Like, so why is AMD even going to try with that? I think that what AMD is going to do is make the GPUs more efficient this year coming. So they're going to be less wattage to get the same amount of performance and add more ray tracing, which is all they need to do. The raw performance is fine. NVIDIA is, we haven't seen any monumental shifts in the technology behind GPUs right now. So NVIDIA is actually going the opposite route of AMD and just dumping shitloads of watts into the 5090, according to the leaks. It's going to be 600 watts, which is insane as a base TGP. So because we haven't had usually it does that generationally. Like, not every generation do we get a monumental uplift. And this is one of those intergenerations where we can increase the technology, DLSS, AI technologies, little chips like neural processing units on the things, on CPUs and whatever. But there's no like massive node shift in GPUs. So realistically, I think most of them are just going to go for more NVIDIA, sorry, is just going to go for more watts to get more performance and just tweak little things here and there. And I think AMD is going to be the opposite, less watts and lots of tweaking. Okay, what else did we miss? I can use 16 gigabytes on my A770 Intel, which is not a powerful GPU at all. It's actually like a 3070, if that. I also game at 4K though. Kobe, my dog just disappeared. I'm gonna go get him because he feels sad. Come in there. Come in. Hi. What are you doing in here? Come here. Yeah, you can be with me. Good boy. You stay in here while I do my stream. He heard me talking and probably thought, because I'm talking loud, he probably thought I was upset. I can show him. Come here. It's really messy. I don't want to destroy him. Come here. Hi, baby. You are now an object of my stream to be shown. He doesn't like this. Isn't he a beautiful boy? Okay. I'm sorry I had to do that to you. Ouch. Thank you. My dog is very cute. Okay, that's hooked up. We'll do these things later. That's fine. The wiring. This is an Intel machine. No one cares about that. I just need to wire it up. Cooling unit is on. You know what? Let's do it because then I'm going to slap the GPU in because that'll be fun. Look at this weird, such a strange design. It's got this huge thing in it. I can wire all these up with the GPU in. Let's open the GPU just for the like flex, and then I'll move on to my system. Because I want to really actually clean this up. It's not going to be my system. I want to really take my time. But let's have a look at the GPU. Who wants to see a 7900 XTX MSI and see me compare it to a Red Devil Thick Boy? I do. Look at that. Look at that new. Look at that schnoo. Okay. I wonder how delayed my stream is. What I'm seeing is like so delayed. But I think I'm relatively live. It's so thin compared to the Red Devil. Rouge Devil. I don't know how to say devil in French. Oh, it's got a little bracket. Got a little bracket boy. 1 a.m. right now. Oh, it'll go. You can watch it after EX himself. It'll appear on my like video streams after. So a nice little bracket there. Deville. Rouge Deville. VRAM temp on the MSI. Jackie, I can do that. Yeah. When I get it set up, I'll take a look at the VRAM, and I'll compare it to the Red Devil so we can get an idea. I did some searching on this after I forced everyone to buy it, and it seems to be actually a really good card in terms of like in the XTX stack. It's so much smaller. Wow. Yeah, the Red Devil is huge, like actually a joke. Look at that. It's so much thinner. The Red Devil is, it's like insane. It's like 4090. Like, look how big that is. And then compared to that, it may not show up on camera, but it is much thinner, right? The Red Devil, I don't really care. It's fine for me. But if you're trying to like put this in a system for somebody, it is much thinner. 3-slot on the back, like straight up, right? Plus more, it's like a 4-slot GPU. Realistically, it's like a 4-slot GPU. This is like a 3 with actually 2 for the cooler. So huge difference there. The fans, MSI has really good fans. Does a different type of cooling style. It has this serrated, I don't know if you can see that through the camera. They actually kind of wobble their radiators. So I just find that it, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. MSI stuff just runs cooler than you think for the size. Red Devil does run relatively cool, but it's huge to get there. So that's that. Here, let me show you some other MSI stuff. So you're like, what's the difference? This is a 2 generations old MSI 2080 Ti, so they're like Halo. Similar type of grill, if you can see that. It's got that kind of like chicken wire. That's the term I want. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Met Prism. That was the Red Devil, which I've never owned. I've owned Hellhounds, which are fantastic. That's the first Red Devil I've ever touched. I've owned several MSI cards. I love MSI cards. Realistically, I like MSI in general. I have an MSI motherboard here, and if I can buy MSI, I buy MSI. I also like ASRock, ASRock, a lot actually. I just find they're not problematic. They cost less. But MSI is like kind of my go-to when possible. No. The long... Yeah, did you see that, by the way? This is my gaming 2080 Ti Met Prism. It's the same length. 2080 Ti, 7900 XTX, 2080 Ti. It's a long boy. You can see MSI sticks to a formula. Here's a 3080. I'm just going to show you guys stuff. Here's a 3080 Ti. Battle Axe? Colorful Battle Axe. I just picked this up. Very nice. And I'll show you one more card. The legendary 1080 Ti from EVGA. 3-fan model. They also have a 2-fan model. 2 bigger fans versus 3 long. The legend. Cool. All right, that's enough. MSI is... Oh my god. Oops, I didn't take out the things. I stared at the wall. The nice thing about MSI Met Prism in Canada is they have an RMA center in Mississauga in Ontario, and they're very easy to deal with. This motherboard here is an RMA unit, brand new RMA. They don't even fix it; they just give you a new one. And the power supply also RMA, just brand new. They didn't even fix it. I mean, they're just like, here, have a new one. So they're both brand new. And I sent it; and it was back within a week, which was nice. Rain is a paid MSI shill. So am I think, at this point, or unpaid. I'm an unpaid MSI shill. And they don't even I have no formal relationship with them. They've never sent me anything. It's like, I will shill for no reason. M4090 was the exact same MSI AIB. Really? What did I have for the 4090? I had a Gigabyte, which went to 30. No, he got the MSI. I don't remember. It was 2 years ago. I had two 4090s. He got one of them, and the Gigabyte went to someone else. Can't remember. The Gigabyte was super thick. Thick boy, 4090. I sold them for really cheap. Got the Giga. Okay. Yeah, 30. Yeah, you got the Gigabyte. Yeah. It's a thick boy. The MSI I remember being thinner now, and you got the thick boy. I don't know why people dunk on Gigabyte. The coolers are really good. Do I need to put in the support bracket? Yes, I do. Actually, no, because I'm shipping this without the GPU. But I just want to show you guys. I'm not going to ship this across the country with the GPU in it. That is a horrible idea. So that's the system. Basically, I'll wire it up off camera. 12900K. It's actually brand new. Got that new. Brand new board here is Tomahawk Z790P Wi-Fi, I think it is. I think that's the P on there. Thermalright Not Note, N-O-T-T-E. What else is interesting? Fractal Pop Air. This power supply that you can't see is a MSI A1000G. RAM is not going in because they already have RAM. Storage is not going in because they already have storage. And that's all I have to say about that. Off camera, I will clean this up and I will get it ready for the homie. Jack Liu. So many things. CC has cheaper shipping, but that's... Oh, Canada Computers, yeah. I go to Memory Express here, and I just price beat, worst case. They just treat you very well. Jack would know. Anyone who's in Calgary or Western Canada knows. I don't know. It's just nice to deal with Canada, with Memory Express. And their prices are higher often, I find, on the website, but they price beat, so it doesn't matter. All right. I'm getting out of here with this big-ass computer. All right. Anyway, computer one done. Other than the need to do extensive cable management. Okay. That's that out of there. Holy smokes, that's a lot of work. Okay. Who builds two systems in one stream? This guy. Kind of. It was partially already built. Asus is MSI prefer repair. Yeah, you almost want the brand that's not going to repair that thing, just freaking replace it. Also, it takes longer to fix something and then send it back versus just giving you a new one. Okay, so this is a partially wired up. This is my old case, my busted ass case. Coolers. I have 2 fractal. And by fractal, I mean Arctic fans in the front. I may switch them out for these NZXTs that I got on a price error base. Well, actually, a price error. Some of these are going to go to Burnsy, so I'm going to see what he wants, and I'll keep the remainders. I also have these that I got from Anders, who is another person. Some Corsair stuff. I don't need RGB, but whatever. It's fine. These are just PWM 140 millimeter fans from Arctic. I find they run very quiet. They're not as powerful as this. These NZXTs run much cooler, especially for a 7900 XTX. But the Red Devil is pretty thick, so it's probably fine. 8900 XTX. I don't even think they're going to make one. I think it's going to be 8900 XT at most. So this is a Gigabyte, I can't remember the model name, G something, 32-inch, 144 hertz monitor. They only have one, so you can just Google that. 32-inch, 4K, 144 hertz. That's a Concept D's nuts. Acer Concept D that Burnsy and I imported or ordered online. It's a creator screen, realistically. It actually comes with a hood if you want to put it on that like blocks out light. 100% DCI-P, Pantone validated, etc., etc. But it also has 4K. It also has 120 hertz refresh rate. I think it goes higher technically. And it has G-Sync. It's so random. It's like this super high-end creator monitor, and then it's also just like a banging gaming thing. Makes no sense. I think it's also like a $2,000 monitor that we got for basically 10% of that. Oh man, okay. So much computer. What monitors you got there? MSR GPUs. Had RMA, G8, 120 OLED monitor. Net Prism, what brand was that? That's a long time. I guess because they probably fixed it. Yeah, they fixed it. They put in a new panel for you. So you gotta wait for freaking forever. Yeah, that's the nice thing. This MSI, wherever it went, over there, if it breaks, and Burnsy's friend, because it's warranty, right? For 3 years or whatever, he'll get a freaking 5090 or 6090 or whatever, because MSI doesn't make AMD anymore, so you get what you get. Oh, this is one of those Wi-Fi ones that has this stupid shark fin. I hate that. Asus, why you do this to me? And you didn't even mount the freaking I/O shield to the back of your thing. This is supposed to be an expensive thing. The nice thing about Memory Express is when you buy stuff from them, which I did, they mounted my CPU, which I have no problems mounting a CPU. I've done it a bazillion times, but they can also, this is a refurbed motherboard, so then they can like confirm, because obviously Asus refurbed this, which is, like when Asus refurbs stuff, what they probably do is just send it back and give you like a thing that says, suck my something. So that having Memory Express test the motherboard was really important for me. And they did. By the way, Bo, better get a 4090 before 15. I tried, and it sold out. I would actually buy a 4090. There's no way I'm paying the prices, the market price. It's just insane. Like this is a $1,000 GPU, Canadian, that I'm putting in here. It's just 700 American. It's actually less than 700 American for the Americans. About 680 for a 7900 XTX brand new. Versus a 4090 at MSRP, which is still MSRP. And they are about 2,300, so more than double. And locally here in Calgary, Jack knows, here in Calgary, there's no decrease in price at all. They're completely full MSRP. When you buy them used, they're like $100 off or something stupid. Thinking of picking up the Gigabyte. I don't know much about Gigabyte monitors. I've only had one, and I didn't like it because it was, rather than being RGB, it was BGR. RGB. BGR, yeah, it was upset, so it was just like the text looked weird. But I think they've come a long way in their monitors, especially their OLEDs. I've heard are very good. The 5090 is going to be so expensive because of the AI boom. I don't even think we're going to be able to buy them. Let's be honest here. Like, I know that it's like Fantasyland and, you know, it'd be nice. I even thought about it. I was like, maybe I'll just get a 5090 just for like for my YouTube channel. We're not going to be able to buy them. Like, we're not. The AI boom is going to take over. We're just not going to be able to buy them. You're going to be paying scalper prices for GPUs like we did in COVID times, even though like stuff is readily available, because they're just going to all go to data centers and AI farms and all this crap. And I'm not being an edgelord, I'm just being factual. But, if the 5080 is not overpriced, which it will be, but not too overpriced, and they increase the VRAM, I think it might be decent. Because NVIDIA or AMD is just not going to compete there. So it'll be, people like me, realistically, I'll still probably be buying AMD or Intel. But then there's people who, do VR and all that stuff, and they want crazy high AI stuff, which I also don't do. They'll be buying NVIDIA, and I think probably at the 5080 level. Right. Why is that not going in? Hate these I/O shields. 5080. So they have these 3 gigabyte modules. Apparently, people are talking about. So they could do 16, of course. They could do more. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I guess it would be then 18. Yeah, 21. It's like, how does that work? That would be weird numbers. But someone was also saying that it might be for the TI revision, the 5080 Ti revision, where they up the VRAM, which I could see them doing that. After a year, wait for people to already buy the GPUs. Oh, so it doesn't exist yet, MetPrism, the 3 gigabyte. That must be a theory then. Maybe that's why they were saying maybe it will be on the 80 Ti, the 5080 Ti, 5090 Ti, like down the road. Maybe that's why they were saying that. I just kind of glanced at it and I was like, that would be a weird number of RAM. They'll find a way to put like 9 gigabytes and be like, look, now it's 7 times the price because we give you 1 extra gigabyte over an 8 gigabyte card. People will be like, please, I need it. Now I can play at 720p. Cut down GB 202. The one thing that I did find interesting is the 5090. The memory bus size is huge. I don't want to swear. You only get a certain number of swears per stream apparently. It's like 1,000 or it's something crazy. I don't remember. 1,200. There was something in like I looked at it at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, jeez. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, this GPU, the 5090 is going to be so freaking expensive. And they're going to pack in probably more AI processing units, whatever. And they just don't care. I don't blame Jensen and NVIDIA. I do the same thing. They're a corporation. They're going to make so much freaking money off of AI. Why would they worry about gaming stuff? Like, they don't care. They don't care. And they also don't care about pricing because people who are buying 5090s for, AI, they're farming money. These people are farming money. So they care a little bit, but realistically they don't care that much because they're going to be farming money. Okay. 512-bit means 16 gigabyte modules, 32, yeah, oh, for the 5090, yeah. I'm expecting 32 gigabytes as well for the 5090, which is a lot. It's overkill, if anything. It'll be good for years. I'm using my 4070 Ti, that's a keeper. I'm using my 4070 Ti Super. Yeah, the 4070 Ti Super, if you ever see me like talk about things with NVIDIA, I think it's the buy-in GPU, that or the 4090, depending what you need. The Ti Super, 4070 Ti Super has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, so you're not worried about VRAM, realistically, for the power that it has and for the price. You're going to be fine, and it will age gracefully, right? It's a powerful enough GPU, probably slightly slower, or around a 7900 XT, maybe a little bit slower, but you get access to the NVIDIA crap. You can do AI stuff on it because you get the VRAM. You can do VR. You can use 4K gaming, and you're paying like $1,000 Canadian versus 4080 at $1,300 Canadian for not enough more performance to be worth it, unless it's on sale. My 10 gigabyte 3080 age like dog shit. Yeah. If MetPrism knows, he's in the chat. There were games because MetPrism and I were like the founders of NVIDIA ARC, of Intel ARC when it came out. We were like in the trenches just fighting with each other because it was just nothing was working. It would work, it wouldn't work, and everyone's performance was all over the place. But anyways, there were games that were coming out and it was beating a 3080 easily. easily beating a 3080. A lot of the time due to like memory leaks in the games and just whatever, like problems with the games. But Hogwarts does actually favor Intel. Hogwarts is like an Intel title almost. But the 3080 was getting smashed by Intel. Last of Us, the 3080 was getting smashed by Arc. There's another game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, whatever it was called. I can't remember at this point. It was also getting smashed. NVIDIA was getting smashed. That was just memory leaks. Like, it wasn't actually. 3070 Ti, that's what it was, yeah. Because of the VRAM. And I mean, I think now there are games where Intel will beat a 3070 easily and a 3070 Ti easily, and probably some fringe cases where it could beat a 10 gigabyte 3080. Not many, but there probably are. But I mean, a lot of the times you're going to run into a performance bottleneck before you hit that VRAM limit, anyways. Like the card will not. You're not going to be getting enough frames that you're going to want to play at that setting, so you're going to lower the settings. At which point the VRAM goes down, so it's a moot point. Unless you're doing like ray tracing, Minecraft and crap. MetPrism knows a lot about that. You guys should look at his channel. MetPrism does a lot of ray tracing stuff on his channel. He's kind of like the king of it. And he does a lot of like ray tracing mods and stuff on Minecraft, Doom RTX. And I'm like MetPrism. I'm not a big fan of ray tracing. I don't even care about ray tracing. I do like ray trace shadows. I think ray trace shadows add a lot of depth and character to a game. I don't care much about the reflections, but once you throw ray trace shadows on an old game, like a block game, Quake, Doom, Minecraft, it looks really good. Because like you're seeing the game in a way that wasn't meant to be seen, and it's so nice, realistically, to play those type of games with ray tracing enabled. In Cyberpunk, for me, it's just not worth it. I just don't care. Games like that, I just don't care. I'll throw in shadows, in which point it does not a big deal. The 7900 XTX, which is here off camera, can do ray tracing, not path tracing, but ray tracing around a 4070 Ti. Sometimes better because it has more VRAM, so you're not going to hit a VRAM limit. You're going to hit the same raw performance as a 4070 Ti. Then it just comes down to VRAM, and that's where you're going to sit, which is fine for me, realistically. Because I don't often crank up ray traced reflections, but I do often turn on ray traced shadows because I think they look nice. That was what that story was about. I am like trying to. I didn't tell you guys what I'm doing. This is not thermal paste, because thermal paste is for weaklings. This is the LTT one. Did I use the Yeah, this is LTT's version of the PTM7950. It's just Honeywell. They just import it. I normally use eBuy 7, but I'm running low on it. I don't want to use it because I might want to do tests down the road between them again, like stability tests, see how long they last. This is PTM7950. It's a phase change material. Starts off almost like a pad, not quite a paste, like semi in between, like a dried out paste almost. Then you put it on, you get your CPU or your GPU or whatever super hot for a fairly long period of time, a few minutes, hopefully longer. It will actually liquefy into a liquid, like a true paste. It comes out the sides. It'll like come out the sides. Then it actually hardens into like a pure hard. There's a lot of disinformation about this last point here, and it's not true. People are like, no, it keeps liquefying every time you heat up your CPU. Wrong. It doesn't do that. It turns into a solid, more or less. And that's why when you take off your cooling solution after applying PTM, it's toast. You got to clean off the PTM and put new stuff on because it turns into a solid. And I was peeling that off at the beginning of the video. I don't know if you saw that. I was peeling off PTM. It turns into this is like solid. This is a solid brittle material now. It's completely immalleable. Non-liquid. It is malleable. It's non-liquid. So anyways, if you use PTM, it's fantastic stuff. It's kind of maybe not worth it if you're the type of person who swaps your CPUs all the time and your coolers and does benchmarks, because every time you do it, you should apply brand new fresh PTM, which would be so expensive and a pain in the ass. But if you're like me and you're going to be like one and done, or you just like to get max performance on everything, screwed that up. PTM7950 performs massively better than thermal paste on laptops. On GPUs, I find that it is pretty significant. It can bring down hotspot temperatures by like 10 degrees, GPU temperatures by 10 to 15 degrees. On the CPUs, it does work as well. On the 12900K that's off camera, I brought the Cinebench score up by probably about 10% using PTM, and that was just not even an air cooler too. It wasn't even a liquid cooler. This thing will be not going to be running hot because I'm going to be running it at balanced eco mode, but it should increase performance. Oh my god, I've been ignoring everybody. Mini HDMI. Yeah, I also bought. You're going to need DisplayPort. I should have mailed you one. I'm sorry for your. Oh yeah, your little computer that you're getting. One of them takes. I think. Can you double check that, Isla? It takes DisplayPort for the little mini thing. I have a spare mini DisplayPort to full DisplayPort if you need it. I can put it in your box when I send that to you. But I will forget. Iron Maiden, Battle Mage is supposed to be coming shortly. We'll ask Met Prison about that. He probably knows more. Or Karath. I don't think Battle Mage is. It's too late, unfortunately. It's going to be a very good GPU. I'm going to buy it. It's going to be a very good GPU. Everything's going to be sweet, but it's too late, unfortunately for them. It's going to be like a 4070 Super, 4070 Ti, and it's just so late. Like, they should have released it already. If they had already released it, it would have been a very interesting product. But people are just not going to care anymore, unfortunately. It's going to be a good GPU. It's going to perform very well. It's going to be a good buy, for like performance to dollar. But there's going to be new stuff coming out. They should have already released it. Okay, I'm going to take a poll. In the chat, I have two different RAM options for this system. I have Viper, Patriot Viper. 6,000, it's going to run at 6,000 mega transfers. Excuse me, I have hiccups. I'm trying to fight them. CL30, so very fast, which it will run. I know it's going to be stable. 64 gigabytes of RAM, but it cost me 230 Canadian dollars. 230 Canadian dollars, about 150 American, 155 American. There was a price error in Canada. I don't know if you guys know about it, but there was. And I picked up this here. This is Crucial Memory. 6,000 mega transfer, so it'll run at the same megatrans. But it's CL48 versus CL30, so that'll be a big drop. 32 gigabytes versus 64 gigabytes. The other thing is, this was 41 Canadian dollars, so it was under 4 times cheaper than this. Half the amount of RAM, and much higher CL latency. Same mega transfers, but much higher CL latency, but less than a quarter of the price. So should I just bite the bullet, use the 32 gigabyte kit because it's not going to make a huge difference on AMD? It will, but it's not staggering on AMD from my understanding. I'm not a RAM guy. Or should I go for the fast boys? I can return these if need be. I don't normally return stuff, but I realized that it might have been a stupid impulse decision getting this. It was a good price at 230 Canadian dollars, but does that matter? 64 gigabytes of RAM is nice, but it's not the end of the world for me. 4 times the price. Okay, so what do you guys think? Do I pay more than 4 times the price? Actually, 5 times the price. Do I pay 5 times the price to go from 32 to 64 gigabytes of RAM, but also getting better? It is better RAM, objectively better RAM. You decide, and I will do it. I live in democracy rules. And then when the camera ends, I'll just make my own decision. But okay, while that does its thing, let's do that. I don't have a power supply. Let's do that, actually. I flip-flopped on power supplies. I picked up an 850 watt. Then I was like, you know what? Why am I screwing around? I know that this power supply is my favorite. I found it to run very quiet. It's the A1000GL. It's the same power supply almost that's in this other system. That one has a A1000G. This is an A1000GL. I don't know what the difference is, other than that it's newer. It's probably the same. I found that it runs cool. I found that it runs quiet. And I found that MSI has really good warranties. And the moral of my story was, it also comes with a free copy of Star Wars Outlaw, which, whether you like the game or not, is still cool. I already own it, though. I got it free. No, I bought it, actually. I bought it for benchmarking. So I'm going to probably sell the code to somebody. So if anybody wants a copy of Star Wars Outlaw, once MSI sends it to me, you can buy it off me for half the price. And I realize it'll still be more expensive than the 850 watt one that I got, but I know the brand. I've used it. I've never had any problems with it. And so it's kind of like why fix something if it's not broken to save like $30? NZXTC 1000 power. Actually, they had one of those and I was going to buy it. but it was pretty expensive. It was very expensive, actually. I was at this place at the Memory Express, and I was taking back the 850, and I was like, what do I buy? That's 1,000 watts. And I went there to get a Seasonic Focus G. There was refurb from Seasonic, but Seasonic sent back white cables to go with a black power supply, which is fine, whatever, it's cheap. I was like, whatever, I don't really care. But they also forgot to send back one of the PCI. And these MSI and the Red Devil power supply, it requires a 3-pin, which you can daisy chain. It's fine. You can put one in there and then have daisy chained and then have another one. But that they had only put in 1 and 2 with no daisy chain. So it was like a useless power supply. So I dodged a bullet with that. So then I was like, what do I buy? And they were going to get me into buying the NZXT, but I haven't used NZXT power supplies. It was a little bit more expensive, so I just said screw it. Hardware Busters had the NZXT a top 2. Yeah, it was, I don't remember, it was a lot more. It was like $350 versus $230 with the game. That one was on sale, the NZXT for a good price, but there was no game, so I was like, it's going to offset. I was like, with the game sale, this will be under 200 Canadian dollars. A 580G, yeah, Iron Maiden, that's a really good GPU, power supply. I was going to buy it. Again, that's actually, I went back and I was like, maybe I'll just buy the A50G. By the way, if you're Canadian and you need an 850 watt power supply, Best Buy Canada has the A850G on a really good sale right now in Canada, $139 from Best Buy Canada, like not marketplace seller. It's a really good price. It's this thing here with 150 watts less, which for like almost anything but 4090 you're going to be fine. It would have been fine for the 7900 XT, but I didn't want to order it off Best Buy because it would have taken like a day or two, and I wanted to do the stream. That's literally the only reason. So whatever. But yeah, if you're Canadian, check that out. Superflower. Superflower also, it's like such a weird brand name, but apparently they're very good. I'm getting spammed by text messages. Holy smokes. Read that after. Okay, so we have a unmarked CPU. This is a 7950X for people who are coming in that I'm putting in the CPU. I wanted to put it up on the display so you guys could see what the heck I'm doing here. Here, 7950X. It can run up to like 200, well, easily over 200 watts, but I'm going to run it in balanced eco mode. If you watch the Gamers Nexus video on the balanced eco mode on 7000 series, I think it's specifically that chip. Balanced eco mode, you take it from 240 or 250, that's the like chips manufacturer level, and they run it at 150 watts, which is balanced eco mode, and then they run it at, I think it's 65 watts for like super efficient eco mode. They both don't drop too much in performance. Balanced eco mode, going down to 105 watts, they only lose like 4% performance, which is crazy because you're dropping your wattages by more than half to lose like 5% performance, at which point an air cooler can run. I can put this in silent mode. This thing has 2 modes. There's a silent mode and a non-silent mode, which I can't find now. There it is. It should be up here somewhere. There it is. Put it back into silent mode, and it really does run super quiet. And I'll have no problems keeping that chip cool under maximum load, even in silent mode, if I throw it on balanced eco mode. And I do not like systems that are noisy. It's just my thing. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions about what I'm doing, feel free. So I'm going to daisy chain the 7900 XTX with one of them, and the other one's going to be single. I know they say don't daisy chain, but the 7900 XTX, I think its base is 350 watts, but I think you can easily overclock it and hit 450 watts, which is fine. You'll be fine. You'll live. And this thing only has 2, so that's not an option. Okay. I hope that when the 9800 X3D is 10%. Honestly, MetPrism, I was so close to not buying this CPU because I was like, why am I buying a CPU when the X3D, oh, that's PCI, when the X3D 9000 is going to come out, like now almost. But I would have to shop up the stack because of what I do. Like I do need the speed, so I'd have to buy into the 9900 X3D or 9950 X3D. I know it's going to cost so much money. So I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. But I think a lot of people who are gaming, like Bernsey, if he's still here, I think he's doing homework. It might be worth waiting. if you can, because they're like the price of the 7800X3D is like MSRP right now. They're not even on sale because they're like being scalped. At least right now. EVGA Supernova 1000 G7. They also had that, and I was considering buying that as well. I've used many EVGAs over the years, and I almost bought that today too. I was just basically like, I was sold on this because I know the power supply, and it came with a free game. So I was like, let's get the game. And I'm a gamer, and I actually already own the game, so I can sell it. Superflower PSU OEM. The Lenovo Legion 7 tower. Does it come with a Superflower? It comes with an 850 watt Hydro. No, it's a Hydro G. That's what it comes with. Which is, I was impressed. They put in like a name brand power supply rather than just like Lenovo brand, which probably would be made by somebody like that anyways. But at least you know. You're like, this is literally what power supply this is. Okay, so I have 2 hard drives. 2 hard drives. I have 3 at SATA, so that's more than enough. That's good. And this power supply smells good because it's brand new. Pixel. Oh, Pixel, I know. You. Gotcha. I had no issues with it so far. I love the fact that it shows roughly how much... Does it say that? That's cool. The first system that I built on stream, because I built 2. This is my second system built on stream. It apparently has like metrics on the cooler, which I've never used before. It's going to somebody else though, so they can figure that out. I don't know how that would work. If it just pops up, or if there's some type of software you need, I don't know. But I always like the idea of seeing cool metrics on stuff. Makes you feel like you're a hacker boy. It's so tight to get in here and not destroy my thing. It's good. Get in there, MSI. Do what I want. The screws, I have no idea where they are. But I have a case of screws, so it's okay. It's got 5 blue bars on the power. Oh, yeah. So it's like it's a like almost an analog style indication of what's going on. That's cool. It's funny how there's like different markets in the PC place. It depends how old you guys are. I'm actually almost 40. I don't know if you guys know that. But I'm very close to being 40 now. Shockingly close. Depressingly close. So I've like seen all these things, and the GPU space is the one place that's just like vehemently, however you say that word, overpriced, insane. Like it's just everything's so expensive, and then it's like, and you gotta upgrade all the time. Realistically, you don't have to, but you kind of also do. And then there's like power supplies. It's like, yeah, we're gonna last for 20 years. Like, don't even worry about it. And then there's like CPUs that like honestly, if you get it like this 7950X. I could probably use for 10 years, realistically. Not maybe as a YouTuber, but I used the 3570K until 2021 or something like that. Like, you know, they don't, you get into them and they're so cheap, they last forever. Coolers, like you're never really replacing unless it breaks. Motherboards, yeah, I guess maybe you might want to upgrade, but usually not. So it's realistically like most of the stuff in a system is like you buy in, you pay all this money, and it just stays there. But then the GPUs are just like so non-competitive, or maybe because they are competitive. I don't know. They're just constantly, you got to upgrade. They're so expensive, and everything else. It's like there's so much. Just like you get one that you want, and you're good to go, which is interesting. Iron Maiden. Ooh, it looks like you might even have a little Iron Maiden icon. I listen to an Ozzy Osbourne song right now at the gym, and I listen to which is not Iron Maiden, but it's the same genre. And I listen to Rob Zombie right now at the gym, just in that like kind of metal era. Rob Zombie's newer, obviously, but anyone have experience with NZXT? I do not have any experience with that, so I will not even answer. CPU, I really don't need to hook up to CPU, not for this system, but I'm gonna wire it up just like so it's there. I don't know. Because eventually I'm going to move to the United States of America briefly for a year, and I'm not going to take a case with me. Nor am I going to take a power supply, nor am I going to take a motherboard. So I'll probably take out my CPU from here, put back in that little thing, take out my storage and the GPU and just go with that. So then it will be wired up for the next person who may get a 9990 X3D plus gold platinum edition, which takes 7,000 watts, and they'll need to have 2 CPU things hooked up. Oh my god, this desk is so like, it's a ceramic material, it's impossible to turn things. The hardest part of building a system, just so you know, oh, that's an 8 and a 2. I guess it's AMD efficiency, right? Well, anyways, the hardest part of building a system is actually this, because this fan is here, which I could take out, but I will always go the lazy route, risk damaging the product, hurt myself, but it's easier. Even if it actually is not easier, but it's perceived as easier, so I will do it. It's like carrying all your groceries in one trip, which actually takes 10 times as long and you get hurt, but you only have to walk a certain number of steps, so it's worth it. I actually don't know how to separate this out. Normally they have a little clip, a clippy thing to separate oh, it pulls apart. Isn't that cute? I don't need to do this, but I'm going to. I mentioned this already. I'm repeating myself. I could move, let me just move this fan. Come on, Bo. You're making your life harder on stream while people are watching you struggle. Okay. If you guys have any questions about my system, my hot takes on CPUs, GPUs, laptops, feel free. I'm more of a laptop bro channel, but I keep up and I mess around with tech. In the desktop space, I just don't usually make videos about it because Gamers Nexus exists, and why compete when you can't compete? They do it better. Hardrun Box and all these guys. Cable management is the fun part. No, it's not. Maybe for you. That's easy for you to say. I just leave my systems marginally unmanaged. I also don't use RGB. I'm a performance and quiet. I like good quality parts. It's got to run quiet, and I don't use RGB. So I put my effort into that kind of stuff. I do appreciate a really nice system, though. Okay, so this is ASUS. It is not MSI. It has 1, 2, 3. I guess that's probably not a M.2. The Tomahawk, which is out of the frame now, took 4 M.2. This takes 3, so it's a downgrade. I always find that MSI has more of that, but I do get 4 SATA ports, and it's a X board, not a B board, meaning I can support all these slots at one time. A B650, normally, not always, but normally you can't wire up 1 M.2, 2 M.2, 3, and have 6 SATA. They don't even come with 6 SATA, usually 4. Oh my god, hiccups. But if you populate all of the slots on a B board, B650 board, often it will disable some of them. These boards here, the X670, I mean, you get better VRMs, whatever, I don't care about that. What I care about is I can support, there's more PCI lanes, so I can populate all of these things with storage. So the fun part of the video for me is not the cable management. It is hoarding huge amounts of storage. So I've been doing some NAS videos, so I have a ton of storage after that. Show temps. Have you got Lenovo Aura laptop? No, it's coming on Tuesday, Pixel. It shipped super late. I was angry. I was so angry that I told Lenovo, hurry up. And they were like, what do you want us to do about that? So I didn't do anything. But yeah, it's coming late, unfortunately. I would have already had a review, but I'm going to do more reviews than your average Dave 2D review or whatever, where they just show the laptop. I'm going to do a review of the laptop because I care about that, probably compared to other laptops. I'm going to do extensive iGPU testing with various watts like I did for the Ryzen 370 890M. I'll test low watts, high watts, everything. And of course, I'll do like just gaming on the laptop itself. Maybe I'll do some narrative videos. I have 2 OEM. My trick to getting cheap storage, very high quality cheap storage, is to buy very expensive desktops or laptops from companies, hopefully on a discount, and then get 4 terabyte drives and like strip them out. And just because usually it's like $300 or $280 Canadian. for like super high-end storage, whereas if you buy them off like Amazon or whatever, they're more expensive. So this is a Kioxia drive. It's an OEM drive. You can't get this, you can't buy this unless you bought it like maybe on eBay. I got it from the server that I bought. I got 3 of them. They're 4 terabytes, so I might do that so they're all the same. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the system. Boom. These are SN820 Western Digital, which you also can't buy. They'd have to be OEM. These are technically Western Digital Black 850X. It's actually this, technically. It's just the OEM version of it. 4 terabytes, so you get all the same performance, but it's that there. Warranties on these are probably super hard because they're like supposed to be in the laptop. I also have off camera, now on camera, Sodelgim, aka SK Hynix P44 Pro. Probably the best drive on the market in terms of just being balanced. Gen 4, but it's just a fantastic drive, but it's only 2 terabytes. I could put that in as my operating system. It's the most stable, low latency, just generally very good. It technically would outperform an 850X, but they're close enough, it doesn't matter. I also have an SK Hynix P41 Platinum, which is technically almost the exact same drive, as we call these rocks. And yeah, it's the same thing, 2 terabytes. I also have this one that I bought for $200 Canadian because storage prices went up. UD90 from Silicon Power, Gen 4 drive. I don't think it has any type of DRAM, so it's not an operating system drive. And I have another P41 Platinum, but this is OEM, 2 terabytes. So I think I'm going to go with a non-2 terabyte for once in my life. Everything in this system is going to be crazy high storage. 4 terabyte NVMe, 4 terabyte NVMe, 4 terabyte NVMe. On the back side, you may have noticed I have 4 times 4 SATA SSDs. So that's going to be 4812 SATA. I could technically put in another one. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4812 NVMe storage. So 24, I guess, fast until I add another one. And I'll have 28. I also have an 18 terabyte Western Digital hard drive and a 16 terabyte Western Digital hard drive. Clearly, I like storage. Clearly. So I think for fun, rather than putting in mismatched drives, 4 terabytes and that, I might, I don't know, I'm debating what I want to do here. I could do these 3 here. I'm not going to RAID them, but I could put in these 3 here, have 1 as my operating system, 2 of these and have them in RAID so that they're the same. Or, put those over here. Cute little guys. I could put in my favorite, which is the 2 terabyte P44 Pro, put that in there for my operating system, and then I could RAID probably these 2 Western Digitals. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Because I have so much SATA storage in this laptop, in this desktop, what is another 2 terabytes? And then when I do like, if I do NAS stuff or whatever, or direct attached storage, they'll be the same drive. It's just, it's better to do that realistically. I don't know where to put all these, I don't know where to put all these storage. Man, honestly, Iron Maiden, like I'm a storage guy. I just love lots of storage because I do game testing. And in the fall of last year, like a year ago, we were eating so well. Like those MP34 drives from Team Group were like $200. They Canadian, which is like 140 American. They had TLC DRAM, excellent drives. They were just like you could just buy them like nothing. Western Digital 850X 2 terabytes were like half what they are now. And everyone kind of was like, oh, they're going to go down in price. And I was like smelling it. I was like, they're definitely going to go up in price. So I bought a few, but I didn't realize how much these companies were going to gouge us. And holy crap, did they gouge us. I should have bought more. So because then I had to like buy into storage at honestly twice the price of what I should have. So now we're just getting screwed. The prices are just ludicrous right now. Have you ever used PTM7950 on desktop GPUs other than the laptops? Yeah, Matt. So the 12900K, I'm not sure if you were here for the beginning of the video, the stream. The 12900K, which is the second system, the one that I built right before this, off camera. I did thermal paste. I didn't make a video. I should have made a video. I did thermal paste on the 12900K. Good thermal paste, but thermal paste. I ran it with the air cooler, which is fine. It's a good air cooler, put it that way. So it's a good enough benchmark. The Cinebench score going from that to PTM7950 went up by about 2,000, which is about 10% because it was about 24,000 on that CPU, somewhere around there. About the same as a 13700. It went up by about 10%. Temperatures, it's hard to say. They didn't go up. They didn't go down under full load like Cinebench because it just went up more and throttled. And more wattage stable. But it did increase performance by about 10%. In games like Baldur's Gate and that, which are like semi CPU heavy, it didn't make a huge difference. But my problem is that game at 4K, so it was never really slamming it. But I think that we can extrapolate from a 10%. I did multiple runs on the Cinebench. It wasn't just one. I think we can extrapolate from the Cinebench going up 10% that it did something. It did definitely lower the temperatures. And again, liquid cooler versus air cooler, 12900K versus say 14900K, right? Like I was working with modest specs, modest cooling. I think it's worth it if you get the money. I think it is actually worth getting some PTM and throwing it on your desktop. Definitely on GPUs, it makes a huge difference. I will die on the hill that adding PTM to your GPU is a good idea. You can screw your warranties, just so you know. In Canada, you can't. You're allowed to service your GPUs in Canada, and I think the United States, you're allowed to service, don't quote me, but I think you're allowed to service your GPUs, meaning you can take off the backplate to add paste. You can't do other stuff, but you can service your paste. You could say you were getting hot spots, you had to service it. Legally, you can do that depending on your country. So getting a brand new GPU, like my Red Devil, which I got new, I brought down my temperatures by about 10 degrees on average with this. And it's such a beefy cooler, didn't need it. Massive difference. On the 2080, it brought down my temperatures by like 20 freaking degrees on this thing. This is a big cooler too. This had old paste though, so it's hard to say, but it did a huge difference. 1080 Ti did a big difference. I did it on my 4080. It brought down the temperatures by a few degrees on the 4080. Again, had a huge ass cooler, so it wasn't going to be that much anyways, but it did bring down the temperatures. 7900 XT, it did make a big difference. Arc, I didn't do it on the Arc because it's like glued. I did it on a lot of old cards. It's hard to do with old cards because old cards often have like old ass paste. So you're like, is that just because I repasted it or is that because I used PTM? But you can, I would die on the hill that you can notice it on a GPU. I'm looking for the little motherboard things. I don't know where I put them. I thought they were right in front of me. The little motherboard screws. Oh, here they are. That's a pretty good 1 terabyte SSD. Oh, sorry. I just bought a Western Digital SN850X. Yeah, I have that right here. Western Digital 850X, very good SSD, 512. And I'm putting 2 of them in my system. These are slightly different. These are Western Digital SN820. It's the same drive, but these are OEM, meaning you have to get these from systems. I pulled these from Alienware laptops, high-end, high-end Alienware, desktops and laptops. When you get 4 terabytes, they come with this. This is an 850X. So clearly I'm a fan because I'm putting 2 of them in my system. XPG is dropping down. Yeah, I saw that actually. That was like today or yesterday. The XPG for $300, which is a good price. I don't know if I put it as a system drive, but in a PS5 or a game drive, it's fantastic. Like as an auxiliary drive. Probably fine as a system drive, to be honest, realistically. This is going to be hard to get in here. I think I missed like so many chats. No, we're fine. We're caught up. Okay. Oh, this is cool. This motherboard has slots for all the lengths. The big one, 2280, what is it called? Yeah, 22118, which are like, I don't even know what uses those. I've never actually seen one in real life. The long one, I've never seen one in real life. But I've seen them on like Facebook and stuff. People sell them, but usually they're pulled from like weird systems. But it's cool that it supports all of them. A lot of motherboards don't necessarily have things you can swap. XPG is solid, and yeah, so that's like, I mean, that's a way better drive than this here, but the UD90 here, the Silicon Powers, I've had no issues with the Silicon Power. This is a UD90 Gen 4 drive. I made a video of it, but I never posted it. It's a good drive, 4 terabytes, you can get it for a good price. Very fast, very, very fast for gaming. I don't think it would be a good operating system drive because the cache runs out for long writes. If it's just a generic system, you're not going to notice the difference. Just toss it in your thing and just enjoy whatever. But like I do large video editing transfers of like 200 gigabytes at a time, and it did tank after about 100 gigabytes. It started getting slow. But for general use, it's fine. Look at that. This thing doesn't have freaking I/O shields on the things. What? This is an expensive board. Asus. More like a suspect. Good thing I have like heat sinks. That's weird. It's really rare to get a super high-end board. I mean, this is not the highest end board, X67P. It's not their best board, not even close. But it's not a cheap board. I'm surprised. I'm shook. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined, I think is the quote. It's a tiny little thing. Okay, so we're doing the storage now. I have this storage. I'm sorry it's getting boring because we're getting to the weeds of it, of building the system. You guys can ask me questions though. If you want to know stuff about, if there's people who don't know who I am a very prolific laptop reviewer, and I consider myself one of the best. I will pimp myself in that regards. Desktop stuff I'm good at, but I'm not a professional. I'm no gamer's nexus. But if you have stuff about laptops, I think I'm probably the guy to come to. There are people in the chat who are very, very good with desktops. NetPrism being one of them. So feel free to ask questions. Brands, products, projections for the future. I would trust him to answer any question with reasonable and measured, not necessarily always accuracy, but a well-informed opinion. Iron Maiden, yeah, man. So yeah, I don't know how YouTube algorithm works. I'm not a streamer. I do a lot of laptop reviews. I started YouTube randomly during COVID lockdown. I moved across the country from Halifax in Canada, and I got trapped here in Calgary. And because COVID, my province shut down, I couldn't go back, and I had a condo there and everything. And I came with a backpack. I think I had the backpack. I might have had a carry-on. No, I didn't have a carry-on. I had a backpack. So I had nothing. So I started buying stuff while I was here, and we rented a place, and I started buying stuff because I had nothing, and I do tech. My field is tech related. I was in my PhD at the time, and my PhD was in a tech related field. So I needed storage, I needed laptop, I needed desktop, blah, 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 blah. And it was really hard to get stuff because we all know how bad it was then. And I was like, you know what, while I am already buying stuff, and I like to teach, I teach university. That's my I'm not doing it right now, but I was teaching at the time, and I've been doing it for years. I was like, you know what, let's teach on YouTube. And I just started doing lowbrow, low-key videos. I actually started with more handheld stuff like Vita, 3DS, covering that. But I was also buying stuff. And I was like, you know, while I buy this, why don't I also just talk about the stuff that I'm buying, specifically laptops? Because it was so hard to get GPUs back then, as you guys know. So I started buying laptops. And then I started, people started watching. And I was like, here, why don't I just go through them and review them and, sell them off? Because at that time, it's so hard to get stuff. I could buy them, sell them at a minor loss, not a huge loss. Nowadays, I still buy the vast majority of stuff that I review, but I sell them at a bigger loss because they're less demand. But yeah, and I just started, I knew a lot about tech in general, computers, but I wasn't a laptop bro. I didn't know that much. And I just got so into it. And now I'm one of the laptop bros. There's other laptop bros on YouTube. I would consider Jared's Tech like the gamer laptop bro. Comparative specifically does a lot of comparative reviews between laptops. I do not do comparative laptop reviews because I think, in my opinion, there are scientific limitations of doing that because if you watch a lot of Gamers Nexus, they would actually talk about this as well. I'm not degrading anybody because you need that stuff. You still need that general comparative review on YouTube. But for me, I don't think it's scientific enough, in my opinion, because there's too many moving goalposts. So, one Windows update can increase your performance by 10%, decrease your performance by 10%. One NVIDIA driver or one AMD driver revision can increase or decrease your performance. So to compare laptops that may come out 6 months apart, a year apart, 2 years apart to one another, for my style, I don't like to do that. So what I do is I do user level reviews. So I focus on how is this product for the user. I will look at, I do gaming tests, all that kind of stuff. And I do my qualitative analysis and I say, this laptop, I like this more than, I like the ThinkPad in 2024 more than the ThinkPad in 2023. And let me show you why, because it has better speakers objectively. Now it has doesn't have soldered RAM now. Now it has SOTA memory. I talk about those type things. And I focus everything on the user level, because I think there's not enough of that on YouTube. I think a lot of it is, what looks sexy on, on YouTube. What is the new product? What's sexy? What's, the hot new stuff? And just go over like a general overview of the product. But I think that there's a little bit of a lack of, should you buy this? Is it affordable? Is it and the lower end stuff. Jared's Tech does that, but he does gaming laptops. But in I do all laptops. So in that kind of space, a lot of the times I think that's missing a little bit too. And there are channels that I like. I watch Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. She's kind of a summary channel. She does still a pretty good overview, but she doesn't get down to the user level as much as I do. Andrew Mark David is kind of similar to her. I think he's pretty good. But I think some of the big mega channels are too superficial. It's just like a product overview. I'm talking a lot. Okay, I have oh wow, export. I think so. You're also in Calgary. Oh, nice, man. I'd ask you where you live and I'd dox you, but then you dox me in return. I live close, kind of near downtown. Put it that way. I like Calgary. I'm not from here. Oh, I put the thing in the long one because I was talking about the 22110 length. Calgary is nice. If you guys don't know, I buy the vast majority. Lenovo does send me laptops. Not very often anymore because I'm like too fast. I buy them before they can send them to me, but I'm sure they would if they just sent me one recently. So Lenovo will send me stuff and they've been good to me, I would say. I send them back after, but they've been good to me. Best Buy sends me stuff. Best Buy's dope. Best Buy Canada, dope. I like Best Buy Canada a lot. They're just really nice to work with. I got 1 gigabyte laptop as a review sample I sent back. That was nice. That was fun. I enjoyed that. And a lot of random companies will send me stuff, like Acasis sends me stuff, TerraMaster, Synology, like other companies will send me review samples. But I buy the vast majority of the laptops that I review, like 20 to 1. And living in Calgary is kind of nice because we have low taxes. So it does keep my costs down. I resell them at a loss, sometimes to people in other parts of Canada, like my friends, people online, but I sell a lot of stuff locally, and having low taxes does help a lot because I buy so much stuff. Okay, so 4 terabytes storage there. I'm sorry, 2 terabytes storage there, P44 Platinum SK Hynix, 4 terabytes, 4 terabytes. Boom, we got storage. Boys and girls. I think we can escalate now that I'm done rambling about things that you guys don't care about. Let's get some stuff in the system that matters. Okay, I don't want to mix up this. This is for the not cooler, which I'm going to send to that other guy in case he decides to use it. We're not going Intel, we're going AMD. I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. But I think we can escalate the speed here now that I got the tedious part done. Where do you buy your thermal spreader? Thermal spreader? Oh, the little spatula. Burnsy, if you buy PTM 7950, no, 7950. If you buy TF8 from, this is the best paste on the market in my somewhat biased, somewhat unbiased opinion. It comes with a little spatula, and I've been using it for years. I don't always use PTM, even though I'm like the PTM bro now on YouTube. I'm the biggest advocate for PTM. Linus better pay me for promoting his products. Yeah, and it's not expensive, Burnsy. TF8, you get it on Amazon. It's $10 Canadian, maybe 11. You do get slightly less paste than if you bought NH1 or whatever that's called. NHD1? NTH1. From Noctua, you get 3 grams of this stuff, or 3.5. The TF, you get like half, actually, unfortunately. But it's better paste. And you don't need very much of it because you actually spread it. You don't just squirt it on. So you're always going to be putting the right amount. So I get like 3 CPU applications out of it. And when I use like squirt on paste, I also probably get 3 because I always overdo it. It has a higher thermal conductivity. It's thicker. And I find that you need to change it less often. XPX. Oh, you know what I was going to do? Shit. Jeff, was it Jeff who was in here? Someone was in here earlier. Told me to review. Oh my God, where did it go? There's a little like thermal PTM type alternative. I'll have to do it on a laptop. From Thermalright. Oh my God, it's in this desk. I completely forgot about it. He asked me to review, because I'm doing PTM 7950. That's what I normally do. There's this Thermalright pad that I bought. He told me to buy it, and I did, off of Amazon. And it's supposed to be similar to PTM. And I was going to do it with the AMD, but you know what? This AMD is not going to run at full temperature, so maybe it's not. But if you have a hard time buying PTM 7950, which you have to buy from eBuy7 or apparently Linus, LTT Linus, then you could maybe try that stuff on Amazon. It might be good. I'll make a video. I'm going to make a dedicated video about it. So, yeah. I don't remember how this goes. It's been so long. I thought I need to mount the one-sided ones first. Like these ones? I don't remember. It's been so long. I need one more little thingy for the CPU cooler. I probably lost it, knowing me. Oh, there it is. Let's see if I can do this blindly. I kind of remember what I'm doing. So I think this goes in. No, that's not right. There's no way that's right. That's wrong. That is objectively wrong. Assassin IV instruction manual. So I'm going with air cooling intentionally because I like air cooling because it's quiet. Unfortunately, this air cooler, that's LGA, yeah. Unfortunately, this air cooler you can't really buy in Canada anymore. The Assassin IV. Where is AMD? There we go. So with AMD, you put in, maybe it is these. Okay. Okay, that's one. I'm curious if you guys have a computer or a laptop. I'd like to know, do you use a desktop computer or do you use a laptop? Or do you use both? And I'd also like to know what specifications you have. I'd like to know what type of laptop you have. I'd like to know what type of specifications it has. I'd also like to know about your desktop because I find these things interesting. I like people and I like to know what people use. So if you are willing to tell me, type in the chat and let me know what kind of system you use. Which way does this go? Yeah. What kind of system you use? Do you use an old mom computer? Do you have a ThinkPad? Do you have a RTX 4090 times 2? Where do I buy these items in Calgary? Oh, I buy them online. Oh, no, that's a keeper. Actually, well, I mean, most of this came from Memory Express. Like this desktop, most of it came from Memory Express. The CPUs from Memory Express, Calgary, motherboards from Memory Express, power supplies from Memory Express, cases from Memory Express, storage is not, cooling is from Memory Express, all of it. Because I like Memory Express. They price match, so if it's more expensive, just get it from them. My previous system, which I just got rid of, actually was from Best Buy Canada, most of it. I also like Best Buy Canada. I got the motherboard from Best Buy Canada. I got the CPU from Best Buy Canada, actually. I got the RAM from Best Buy Canada. Yeah, most of it actually is from Best Buy Canada. So Memory Express, Best Buy Canada. I do shop on Amazon, but I actually price match when I can locally. Laptops I buy from the OEMs or Best Buy Canada. I buy most of my laptops actually from Best Buy or Lenovo or Asus or whatever, but most of them I buy actually, I don't buy laptops on Amazon at all, ever, like super rare. I buy almost all my laptops from Best Buy Canada because that return policy, and I don't return a lot of stuff, but returning a laptop that has a problem with it is not something that's fun. So if you buy, a laptop from Best Buy, just take it back. If it has a problem, just take it back. Any experience with MSI Delta? I don't know what that is actually. Delta 15. I watched Jared's review before I bought mine. Curious if I have not actually done much MSI stuff. A little pricey, unfortunately, here in Canada, or unobtainium. Some of the MSI stuff. Where did my other RAM go? Generally speaking, I like MSI though. So I can tell you that much. Generally speaking, without knowing what product you're talking about, I would say as a general rule, I like MSI. You guys didn't tell me what you want. Do you want me to put in the 64 gigabyte kit, 6,000 mega transfers at CL30, so very, very fast memory, very, very expensive memory? Or do you want me to put in the cheap Crucial stuff that cost me $41 Canadian, which is like 30 American? What do you think? Do I go all the way out or do I go cheapo? Cheapo. I kind of want to do cheap RAM. Intel XP ready, but apparently it does also do AMD. Let's put in the expensive RAM for now. Why not? We're going with the Halo AMD system. The best AMD system you can buy, kind of, not quite, but very close to being the best AMD system you can buy. 7950X, which is basically the same performance as the 8000 series. So whatever, good enough. 7900X3D. Red Devil, which I think technically is either the best model or the second best. I think the Sapphire Nitro Plus is technically the best. But let's not split hairs. Apparently Discord, OBS disconnected. It said it reconnected. So can you give me a thumbs up if it's back? It says reconnected. Okay, you're back. It was like a 1 second. It went boop, boop. But there's a little bit of lag. I don't know. Probably my Wi-Fi was like refusing to Wi-Fi. Okay. Man, there's so much stuff here. SATA. This system I'm going to hook up because this is mine, and I want to turn it on the stream so you guys can be like, look at him play games on AMD. He is such a shill. He only promotes AMD, even though he has more NVIDIA stuff than AMD, generally speaking. That's how you guys talk. Okay. I hate this part. I hate this. This is the wire that I hate. They're like freaking front. How do you? I don't know. It's always so tight. I always feel like I'm gonna break it. Thumbs up emoji. Oh my god. Okay, we're doing it live. I'm just gonna fix this later. The pure cable management I'm not gonna do on stream. It's super boring. Unless it was like the middle of the night and you guys were just gonna do it as like an ASMR, and I was gonna talk with like dulcet tones. And now I will connect the power supply. Did you guys know that the power supply supplies power to the GPU and the CPU? If not, now you know. Did you know that plugging in the pump I/O to the CPU I/O is a bad idea? If you didn't know, now you know. Arrow like mobile. I'm very excited, man. Honestly, I was supposed to get my, oh my god, Lunar Lake this last week. I just think mobile is it's just exploding. It's just taking off. Just everything. I think Intel's back in the game. It's good that they got beat up on the desktop stuff a bit, you know, with the problems. It's never good for a company to like get comfortable. It's never good for them to get comfortable. But I think I don't want them to do bad. I just want them to do better. And I think what they're going to do with desktop is going to be great. And I think what they're going to do with laptop is going to be great. Personally. Biased opinion. Informed by some degree of experience. Okay. Oh my god, look at this mess. Look at this messy boy. Get my storage out of here. Okay. I will have to clean this up after. It's going to take forever. I don't know how like small form factor people do this, because I would be driven nuts by trying to get these things so well managed. Okay. I just did first build a couple days ago. Didn't really have the room for a tower for a while. AM4 for $1,000. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with AM4, man. Man or woman or other. Like a 5800X, 5800X3D, 5700X3D, or you can go slightly down the stack and pay a little bit less money. Especially if you're gaming at like certain resolutions, you're gonna be fine. And you can really get into a system for a great price with AM5 right now. Like legitimately a really good price. Do I want to hook up the storage right now? I do not. I do need my power switch. Just gonna make sure this works. This is a brand new motherboard. Refurb, brand new motherboard. Oh, it has that weird I/O thing. I'm gonna guess where the I/O goes and just take a shot at it. I lost my train of thought. But anyways, yeah, the AM5 stuff is great. Intel 12th gen, still good too, because you do have the ability to upgrade your sockets, upgrade in that socket. And 12th gen stable, there's no problems with it, blah, blah, blah. You can get them cheap now. Well, the prices are going up, probably because people want them. But I think, hopefully, Intel sorts out your CPU is now dead problem. I know they're putting out microcode on and off. I've read stuff. Hopefully that's sorted, and then you can buy into a new 14th gen or whatever and not have to worry about your system crashing all the time. So you might be, it's not a bad idea to buy into AM5 for a good price. It's not a bad idea to buy into LJ 1700 either. Do you think the 7600X or the 4060 is a good combo? Easily. 7600X would be a very good combination at 1080p. It's a powerful enough CPU that it's going to rip through 1080p with no problems. Of course, if you increase the resolution, 1440p, 4K, you're going to be shifting all the load onto the GPU anyways. Do you already have a 4060 or are you? Yeah, 7700 XT. I was just about to say that. If you already have the 4060, the nice thing about the 4060 is it's low wattage, so it's very efficient, good for small systems. But you could get a 4060 Ti, a little expensive, the 4060 Ti. But if you can get one for a good price, great. Pretty good performance, I would say, for the dollar. But the 7700 XT is great. 7800 XT in Canada is dropping in price if you're okay with AMD. I think it's going to be dropping in price. It all depends on your price bracket. The problem with the 4060s is too expensive, in my opinion. You can get into like last gen NVIDIA for a good price. You can get into better performing per dollar AMD. I don't like the way that's wired up at all. Better performing AMD per dollar. So it's a little bit of a tight spot. The 4060 is really good for a small system though, because it runs pretty cool. Like it's a single fan, no issues, single fan. It's not going to run hot at all. All depends on budget. Is Legion laptop king and laptop in his price range? Yes, it is. I will say that right now. You can call me a shill if you want, but there's a reason why I buy them. Because I feel confident. I sell the products when I'm done with them. So if I'm selling you a product and my name is on it as a YouTuber and as a human being, I want to know that you're going to have good warranty coverage. I want to know that the product potentially will have resale value for you. I need the resale value. I need to be able to sell it. Asus doesn't have transferable warranties, for example. That's a big barrier for me. I'd love to cover more Asus laptops, but if I buy an Asus laptop and I sell it to somebody, they don't get warranty. What else is good? Alienware is getting a lot better than it used to be. Those Alienwares that I've been testing back to back, I've been pretty impressed with the Alienware stuff recently. They don't have weird. They just don't do weird stuff anymore. This is a horrible setup for these wires, but we're just going to get it in. Normally I'd also put in the CPU first, but I just want to make sure this wire mess is fine for now. I can probably mount the CPU with that in there, I guess. I run a 13700K with EVGA 2080. I'm probably going to get replace the GPU soon. Very powerful CPU. GPU is fine. Nothing wrong with 2080. Get some PTM, Pixel. Wait, I don't remember where you live. I think you've told me before. People tell me things and I immediately forget. If you can get access to PTM, buy some. Because GPUs you're going to service once every freaking, I don't even know, man, like 5 years. And PTM also has long legs. It's going to last for a long time. And then, you buy the PTM and you're not going to service your GPU probably for years. You get the best performance out of it. It's going to last longer and then you just don't have to worry about it. So if you can get some. I would say get some. RX 60, yeah, the RX 6800 is a great GPU. I think MetPrism might be like the biggest advocate for the 6800 of like anybody. He does a lot of comparisons of other GPUs to the 6800 and he likes it. It is, I mean, it's a great GPU. It's a budget GPU with 16 gigabytes of RAM that has good performance. What's not to like? How do you think the Kingpin thermal paste would compare? PTM on a GPU. I did watch the stream, the Gamers Nexus Kingpin video, but I've never used it. I will always put my money on PTM because of the way that it works. It melts, it fills in the gaps, any of the excess comes out. You get the absolute bare minimum needed to get full coverage of all the cracks in that. It has pretty good thermal conductivity. Technically, it could be higher. It's actually not as high as thermal paste, but it just works amazing. I would struggle to see any paste being better. I have never tested the Kingpin stuff, so I don't know, but I would be hesitant to say that it would be better. Blindly, I would say that. Liquid metal, I find, obviously, I mean, it's liquid metal. That being said, thermal paste is way easier to use. So if Kingpin's putting out the best thermal paste on the market, good value, I think it's a good buy because there are huge limitations to PTM in terms of accessibility, reusability. Once you take your system off, you have to throw out it's dead. Like if you see earlier in the video, I had to wipe off the PTM. It's toast once it's on there. So there's hard limits to PTM, mainly just being hard to get, completely non-reusable. It's completely non-reusable once you apply it. So, I mean, if you can get a nice paste, you can just pop on and off, on and off. There's a lot of compelling arguments that could be made for that. So if Kingpin's putting out that stuff, I'd say get it. It's probably one of the best pastes you can get. I mean, the guy's a professional overclocker. I might get some PTM then. The cooler is beefy, but I mean, it's going to run cooler. It's going to potentially run into less issues down the road. You'll get more even cooling spread. In theory, it'll run quieter. That's a big one for me. I mean, it's hard to break a GPU in terms of heat, but it'll run quieter. That's a big one for me. The fans don't have to run as long. Potentially less fan degradation over time. Yeah, it's just potentially slightly higher scores. I don't normally see better scores, like better performance using PTM, because usually, it depends on the GPU, but usually they're running cool enough that doesn't matter. But they do run cooler and quieter. Now, if you have a 3090 or something that runs so freaking hot, right? Or you have a thinner style cooler, like, you rather than getting a 2080, 3 fan or something, you got a 2082 fan with a thinner cooler or something. I mean, you could definitely see performance improvements. This thing, it didn't make any performance difference. This is such a absurd cooler on this thing, on this 7900 XTX, but it does run way cooler, and it runs quieter. It basically just idles with no sound. So that for me was a selling point. But I didn't see any FPS increase. I also live in a colder climate, and I'm in my basement. The box, yeah. This is like the Fractal Pop Air is like a smaller case. It's not even as small as the Meshify, but it's a long boy. It's actually not a very tall boy vertically. The height on it is not very high, which I like because it does keep the case looking small, bringing it down. It does make mounting IOs, and that can be a pain. It is shifty. You may not be able to see off camera, but the IO is actually shifted over. Not the IO, the AIO is shifted over, so you do have room to fit it without competing with anything. But I like it because it's a long boy. I've never had a GPU have it be an issue in here. Even the 7900 XTX from XFX, which is hard to say, is like the longest GPU in the history of the universe. It was still fine. So I like Fractal for that reason, basically. Look at this freaking giant ass card. But it is right. You're finding it's like, once you have this, wait till I put in this cooler. This thing is like an obelisk of darkness. And when I put it in here, the whole case looks so small. It looks so stupid because it is a fairly voluminous case inside. It's no massive, gigantic ATX tower, like a Corsair 4000D, but net present. I was considering putting PTM on the 3090 Ti. I would highly recommend you put PTM on your 3090 Ti. I've never owned a Ti, but I did own a 3090. I've owned 2 of them, and it made a huge difference. The problem with the 3090 is the backsided VRMs, backsided VRAM. So there's nothing you can do about that. My 3080 Ti, which I'm just going to bring in, it's actually not a very big cooler for what it is. This is a high wattage card. It runs at 350 watts easy. This 3080 Ti. It doesn't have the backside VRAM issue. And I did add PTM to this, and it brought the temperature down by 15 degrees. The hotspot probably came down by maybe 8 or something like that. Not the hotspot, the memory junction. It didn't come down as much, but the just general GPU temperature came down by probably like 10 to 15, and the hotspot came down by, I think, about 8. Somewhere around there. I didn't measure it. I should have made a video, but like that's my anecdotal thing, and I think it's worth it. I think it's absolutely worth it. Montec. I've never used one of those, but I saw one locally. 3090 has better PCB than the 3090. Yeah, the double-sided VRAM. I bought a Dell OEM 3090 recently for an incredibly good price. I sold it to a guy for also the same price, basically. But I was like stressing by how freaking hot the memory was running because of the backsided NVMe, because of the backsided VRAM. And my system here is not like some super cool system. Like, it was actually giving me anxiety running games on that GPU. So I was just like, no, I can't. Like, if I had some crazy airflow system, sure, whatever, it's not a big deal. But it's not. I'm not the type of person to want to have to. I will worry about it. I will actually worry about it. So, all right, I'm putting in the obelisk. I'm trying to get a little bit of light here so you guys can see maybe through the top. This is such a freaking behemoth. I like this because it has two modes. It literally is a button ready to go. There's a switch here for cool or silent mode versus like full bore mode. Silent mode is so quiet. And because I'm going to be running the 7950X, wherever it went, on balanced eco mode, 105 watts, it's more than enough cooling on that silent mode to keep it from getting hot at all. And it's like silent. Plus it's this black obelisk and it looks cool. Now you can't really buy it, at least not in Canada, and especially not the US because the company is banned. So I'm promoting something you cannot buy. Tough deal, friends. You know, it would perform basically similar to the Noctua DH15 or whatever it's called. I think it's better, technically. This has the Be Quiet, the really nice Be Quiet, has a less aggressive curve. So the curve on the Be Quiet is here. The Stealth is here, so it's a little bit noisier. But then actually when they start to ramp up, the Be Quiet becomes noisier, and this levels off. So at higher temperatures and higher RPM, this is actually quieter than the Be Quiet. Deep Rock Pro, I think, is the one that I'm comparing to off the top of my head. Not my data, someone else's data. But at lower, temperatures, whatever, I think under max, this is technically a little bit noisier, but it's still so freaking quiet. How do I know all this stuff? It's just in my head. Burnsy's back. I am actually excited to buy the mesh side panel version of the Fractal North. I don't remember what with the little holes. Yeah, the Fractal North is a beautiful case. This is a Fractal case. I think Fractal makes the best cases. Don't add me. This is just a very functional case, simplistic, low cost. The Fractal North is a beautiful case. When I'm done moving around the universe and I finally have an office set up, a YouTube lab, I'll probably get a Fractal North. It's just such a beautiful case. And I'm from the North. So it's like wrong if I don't get one. So this is PTM 7950 cooling solution. This is the Linus Tech Tips version. Linus, if you're listening, this is something that I think you did a good job securing the Honeywell stuff for the average consumer. I can get this stuff from China, but I think the average person is not going to be able to get this stuff very easily. They're not going to trust random eBuy 7. I still use eBuy 7, but I think Linus did a good job with this, or whoever in Linus Media Group did that. This stuff will decrease your temperatures straight up, period. It will. Over thermal paste. Not over liquid metal, but you're not going to fry your system like liquid metal. So I think the average person who wants to bring down their temperatures, not using liquid metal, get some of this off of Linus or get some eBuy 7. This is Honeywell from eBuy 7. But that's what's on here. Now, why I'm saying that is, now that this is on here, when I remove this, if I were to remove this, it will destroy the paste or the phase change material. It would be destroyed. I would have to reapply it. It's not the type of thing you take off and on and off and on because it dries out, and intentionally it's supposed to dry out. It turns into a liquid, then it dries out, and then it becomes completely destroyed when you take it off. So just be aware, be careful when you apply it. If you buy it and you apply it to your system's CPU, take your time because it's kind of a one and done. If you screw it up, you can kind of fix it before you cook it, but once you cook it, it gets hot, it turns into a liquid, then it cures into a hard material. Met Prism, you want Honeywell brand 7950 because I think they're the people who invented it or own the patent behind it. So technically, the real PTM is 7950. There's that Thermalright stuff that I bought from Amazon, which Jeff in my Discord, in the community Discord, told me to buy, which is a phase change material, but it's not PTM 7950. It's just phase change material from some company, from some source made by Thermalright, or they're distributing it. So I don't know how it's going to work. I'll test it out. There is different types of even Honeywell though. Honeywell does 7950, which is their best, which is in here. I think that Lenovo was the guys who started putting 7950 in products. All their Legions have it, and they were the first to do that. Rather than putting shitty paste, they started doing that. But I think in the beginning they used non-7950. It was like 7900 or something, which was like ever so slightly not as good. And then nowadays you really just want 7950. That's the quote unquote real paste. Okay, so my system is theoretically done. I was talking the whole time, so I have like a complete blur. I don't even know if I did anything right there. I have no memory of this place. There's a very high probability this will not turn on the first try. Hey, look, more people came. Now we're at 14. You guys want to watch me press a button and nothing to happen? I don't know if I plugged in the front I/O, the power button right on this motherboard, because the motherboard didn't come with a book. It's a refurb. So I was just like, maybe that's where the power switch goes, and I just plugged it in. And we'll find out. And it's an Asus board, so there's actually more options than other boards. So I'm going to turn this on, and probably nothing is going to happen. We will find out. Look at this very dark obelisk-ass case. Isn't it cute, though? It's like a little stealth dark thing with a cubial thing and a cubial thing. And yeah, it looks nice. I think it looks nice. Then again, I'm older than probably most people. Watch this. Holy crap, this is hard to play. Oh. I also stabbed myself in the head on my microphone. Okay. RAM's in, CPU's in, motherboard's in, CPU power is in, front I/O is in, front USB-C is in, switch is in theoretically in the right spot. I don't know that. J audio is in. This is plugged in. Fans are in. They don't matter, but they're in. CPU fan is plugged in. Okay. Check's done. Never. Damn it. It's probably not the right. Oh. That was switched to off. No! That means I have to Google it. The front switch, I just plugged it in. I hoped for the best. It is the power switch. This Asus one it didn't come with a book because it's a refurb, and it's really long. There's like extra. On MSI, on an MSI you have like the pins 2, 4, 6, 8, and like 1 missing, and it's always the top right 2 on it. I just guessed, and I just plugged it in there. It's probably wrong. Someone could Google it for me. Oh, you know what? I think it's actually just that one. I've used the Asus Prime before. I think I sent Burnsies in the chat an Asus Prime board. Some Asus boards. I can't remember. And I think it's just this. I might be able to do this blindly before I go off and Google. It's probably wrong. Let's see if my memory serves me. It probably doesn't. I also probably didn't need to unplug that, but second time's a charm. Okay, let's Google it. Google. So X670-P prime manual. Okay. I'm getting like barrage with emails. Okay. CSM motherboard. What the heck does that mean? I don't know. Driver and utility support. I don't know. I just need the manual, bro. Manual. Quick start guide. No, I want the actual manual. Not the quick start guide. The whole start guide. Let's see. 1.3 megabytes. Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Oh, it actually does have everything. Okay. Step 6. So that's the I/O. Oh, you know what? Before I look, I think I remember. This is third time's a charm. If this doesn't work, I lose all street cred, and I need to send Burnsy my 3090 or my 4090. The trick to that question is I don't have a 4090. Also, hello, Kigmaniac Tech. I don't remember if I said hi to you. I'm low sugar right now in my brain. I can't see what I'm doing. This light is really poorly placed. Yeah, I haven't eaten all day, so I'm like starving. And it's super late here. Holy smokes. The freaking GPU is like a 12-slot GPU. I can't get my hand under it. And 1 foot high GPU. Jeez. All right. This is like the dad who refuses to take directions when they like are lost. That hurt my ears. Legitimately hurt my ears. I don't need a fucking map. I'm a cartographer. And that's not a joke. I actually am a cartographer. Published cartographer. My neck hurts. I built 2 systems. How long is the stream? I built 2 systems. 2 hours. An hour a system. Not bad. Honestly, not bad. I think my last stream where I built a system, it was like 4 hours and I built 1 system. Oh my god. Okay, so this is how this is. The wires are horrible. I'm sorry. They're actually legitimately bad. But this is roughly how it's going to look. Oop, that's the wrong way. Something like that. I don't have RGB fan. I might actually do RGB on this system. Normally I don't, but I might. Or that's an RGB fan, and I might do RGB on this. Specifically, and just get red because it's kind of a red devil. We have power. We do not have display because I haven't plugged it in. All right, that's the gray. I'm going to move the mic. You're not going to hear me very well. We have power. Unlimited power. Which one's the display port? There you are. Sneaky boy. You're way over there. Alright, that's the display port. The skinny gray one. Where did you go? There you are. Eventually this will go under my desk, but... Now I know this GPU works because I used it before. But that doesn't mean it still works. No signal. That's always fun. Unplug it. And plug it back in. Fun. Fun to have no display. Forgot to plug in the PCI power all the way. I think it's plugged in. I mean, the thing done. The actual motherboard, the actual GPU is possible. It is possible. It is not fully plugged in. It's also possible that I didn't install drivers and whatever. Uh-oh, yeah. I know that the GPU works. I do not know if the CPU works. Well, I know the GPU work had to... Single? Double. We can always put in another GPU temporarily, such as the 3080 Ti that was in my other system beforehand. Just to make sure, because technically the Windows installed on this system had the 3080 Ti. So it might just be a driver conflict. Okay, that's out. Plug it back in again. That definitely had a nice little click. These are all in. I'm assuming this is actually a driver issue because I didn't DDU Windows, and technically there's Windows on the SSD. Who knows? iGPU. Doesn't the 7950X have an iGPU? Which I'm going to plug it in. I just have to get HDMI if that's the case. I think it has like a 710M or something like that. Okay, we're also going to plug in Ethernet. There you go. I think you were right, King Tech, with your first diagnoses of I probably didn't click the PCI in properly. I think you were right, sir. I should always listen to King Maniac, because he's just a maniac. Yeah, I'm actually not sure if I think the 7950X has a like some crappy iGPU, but I actually don't know. To be honest, if someone were to quote me and be like, "You're wrong," I'd be like, "Yeah, probably." I didn't know that, but I think it has like a really bad iGPU because I remember like I don't know you guys can't hear me. I remember ETA Prime or someone testing the 7.1 and 710M at some point, and I was like, "That's going to be bad," before I even watched the video. So, drain all the residual power. Yeah, I think it might have just been power, or it wasn't plugged in. Something. There's also Windows installed on this machine from the other system, but it's Intel, so it's just going to be a freaking nightmare. Okay, so this is a brand new Asus BIOS. I don't like Asus BIOS as much as MSI, but I find it reasonably good. I find MSI the best. I find Asus decent. I actually don't mind AS Rock because it's easy to use. I put in the big boy chips in here. Let's see what we get for the Expo. It's going to give us 6,000 mega transfers and 30 CL. It's not anything crazy, but it's good. CPU fan's fine. That's all fine. I can't remember if these guys have like a weird... I don't remember where it is. In the MSI eco mode, balanced eco mode for the CPU is what I'm looking for. I can maybe show you guys. Maybe I'll do like a Cinebench run if I can get into Windows. I'll do a Cinebench run on this chip and show you the performance. Then I'll put it in a balanced eco mode, and you'll see what dropping the CPU wattage by like 80%, 50%, no, 60% will give you like 100% performance. I think technically there's 5% performance for 50% temperature. It's 50% watts, which is crazy. 8K, 80. Asus is, yeah. 7900 GRE is fast enough for the game. Oh, Jeff must have asked something. I am going to have to go very shortly. Make some food because I'm starving. I might have to actually go now because I'm feeling actually kind of weak. But it works. I might actually do another like follow-up stream, test it out, see how it works. But I am feeling very, very, very hungry. I'd like to get, there we go. I'd like to make this work first. Maybe I'll pop into Windows. I don't know if it'll actually, CPU fan speed detecting error. That's not true, it's plugged in. Or did I unplug it by accident? Oh, I might have actually unplugged it. No, it's plugged in. Why are you lying? CPU cooler is properly plugged into the CPU. It is. What? I mean, I can't tell. Hopefully it's not like a defect with the motherboard. That's definitely plugged in there, sir. CPU fan on the bottom. Yep, plugged in. Yep. Okay, let's go. I'm going to kill that. It says you can also just ignore it, but I'd rather not. I'm actually going to go like that there. I can't really see very well, so I'm going to go like that. I might pop out one of these RAM sticks. It's very strange that it said. That's the issue with these RMA boards. It's possible. When they tested it, maybe they didn't plug in a CPU header. That's definitely plugged in. And I know that the CPU works because I've used it. Yeah, that's 100% plugged in. Let's go with like rage mode. Maybe that's why. It was on like quiet mode, and so that freaked out. Because it's Asus, you're always assuming it's not going to work properly. So maybe because the cooler has two modes, it was like, you're not spinning at all. Because I'm Asus. Oh, God, get in there. All right, try it again. So what it was warning me, I don't know if you could see that, is telling me that the CPU is not plugged in, which is a lie. CPU fan is not plugged in, which is a lie. Let's see what happens. Now you're not going to give me any display? It's probably doing a memory thing. I forgot how freaking long it takes for Asus boards to do like the memory check when you kill power. I used to have this board before, and it was like, it would take so long. I would like change something, and then it was like, you turn off the power, And then it has to train the memory, and it just takes freaking forever. Now it's not working at all. Yay. The fan is going, by the way. I can hear it. There it goes. See, that's a pain in the ass. CPU fan error detected, whatever, or simply ignored in the BIOS. It is going. I can hear it. CPU fan. See, it says NA. I'm pretty sure I could hear the fan going. And then it said ignore. I don't know where that is. Is this just like a piece of crap motherboard? It's possible. And I have to find out how to say no. Like, why can't I ignore you? CPU fan, auto detect, PWM mode, DC mode. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be in PWM mode. Don't know. Does anybody know why it would not be detecting my CPU fan, even though it's going? Yes, I think it's going. Ah! Yes, it's going. I hit my finger in it. The GPU is not spinning. That's fine. It's supposed to do that. And it is plugged in. It's actually spinning. I can feel it. And it says that it's plugged. The bottom one is CPU fan. The top one is pump. So it's like it's just confused. Because the CPU is working and it is running. CPU fan is running. I just stuck my finger in it by accident. And it is plugged into CPU fan, not pump fan. So it's weird. It might be a defective motherboard. I mean, it is a refurb. And it is ASUS, right? Not average AMD setup experience, Jeff. Average ASUS setup experience, because it's ASUS. I actually find AMD normally easier to set up. I've been having a lot of issues with NVIDIA. But ASUS is just... Fuck. See, now it says, ignore. I don't want to hit ignore. I just want to go. So it says simply set it to ignore in the BIOS. Okay, I don't know where to do that though. So now put that back to auto detect, which could be a problem. This motherboard, like I don't want it to not know if my CPU is getting hot or not. I don't know, where would that even be? Monitors maybe, fan speed monitor, CPU fan speed NA. Like there's no ignore here. Oh, there we go, ignore. Sure. Is it going to let my CPU turn into an inferno? It is connected, Anders. I stuck my finger in it. In the front here, it has an I/O shield. It has a shield, but in the back, I stuck my finger in it. It was like. Bzz. It might be a defective motherboard. And not only is it a refurb, but it's an ASUS refurb. ASUS, we know how their RMA process goes. I bought it from a store, so like I can just take it back. But if it's a defective thing, I'm gonna have to take the whole system apart and take it back, and then get an MSI board, because that should have been what I did in the first place. CPU fan is not plugged into the pump connector. Yeah, so on these boards, unless I'm misreading the pinout, I have the thing. So the top one is pump IO, AIO. Bottom is CPU, at least I think. Right, at least I think. Let me check the manual, because I'm having a hard time seeing it. Let's see here. Yeah, so in here you can see the top is AIO, the bottom is CPU. I'm plugged into the bottom one, right here, which is CPU fan. Maybe, I mean, I can always plug it into CPU option, maybe. I don't know if that one's not working. Oh, you know what it might be? I don't think that was in the right spot there. I thought that said chassis fan. It says CPU fan. CPU options. I think that's screwing it up. I think that's why. I accidentally had my front fans plugged into CPU option. Because that's on my MSI board. That's the exact spot for the chassis fan. Yeah. Me. Now I'm going to have to undo the auto ignore. Maybe. Yeah, so normally on my MSI board there was two pins up top. The right one was case fan, and here it says CPU option. I just plugged that in like autopilot, and that's wrong. It's down here. That's what happens when you stream and don't read the things. In theory, this could not be why, but that would make sense if the CPU, if these are CPUs plugged in there, that's also plugged in. It's like, what's going on? We'll find out if this decides to do its thing. God, super annoying. Come on, Asus. Not that big of a deal. I do remember when I first got an AM5 system, and I had an Asus motherboard. It took forever to boot. MSI was quicker. There's also a lot of RAM in here. And I turned off the power. Once it does its memory training, it will be faster. But every time I turn it off, it's going to have to train up all 64 gigabytes every freaking time. I don't think the CMOS would save it. Maybe it would, but hey, look, it's booting into Windows. Yeah, so that was the problem. I was stupid. Now I'm going to have to go into the BIOS later and change my pump fan. There's several people here who are on the Discord and who may even have my cell phone number. Please remind me at some point in the next 24 hours to change that setting. Because that would be bad. This is Windows from a Intel chip on an MSI motherboard. It's apparently going to boot. And I didn't DDU the 3080 Ti driver, so this system is just completely effed. If it boots, I'll be shocked. From MSI to Asus motherboard, from LGA 1700 to AM5, it's working. From NVIDIA drivers 3080 Ti to AMD. Look at that. Sure. I hate Armory Crate, but we're going to get it anyways. Just raw dogging it. Just all the drivers, just everywhere. What I really wanted to do before I log off is just show you guys the equal balance mode, but you can maybe just take my word for it. So what happens if you have a 7950X, which is the CPU here, something that you can do, and I highly recommend it. Watch the Gamers Nexus video on it. Don't take my word for it. There's a video where they talk about balanced eco mode on the 7950X, and I think other chips have it. And on the 7950X, what you can do is you put in balanced eco mode. So it goes from like unlocked, whatever, the chip can go up to 250 TGP. I don't remember what it is on this chip, somewhere around there. And it drops it down to 105 watts. And so you're dropping down by more than 50% watts, more or less. But you only lose like 5% performance. So you're going with like half the watts for 5% performance. So as a result, your system runs much cooler. If you have something like an air cooler, it's not going to be ripping the fans all the time. And potentially you can actually increase your performance if you don't have like an overkill cooling solution. So that's really nice. There is an even lower 65 watt eco mode, but I think then you're starting to look at like a 30% decrease. Hey, Exert, how's it going? Cinebench. I don't even know if Cinebench is on. It is. And I don't have AMD drivers on here, but let's just make sure the freaking thing is stable. I have no AMD drivers. My NVIDIA drivers are probably screwed up. It's on like rage mode on the cooler. So the cooler will go real fast right now. And I'm on full wattage on the 7950X right now. So much diminishing return. Yeah, with AMD, they're efficient at like 100, 105 watts. There's almost no point in going beyond that. Whereas Intel's the opposite. Look at that score, 35,000. Whereas Intel needs more watts, realistically. So we're at about 35K. It is getting hot. You can see that there, maybe. Throttling. Air cooler, but throttling. So if I can do this quickly, I'll do it on the stream because I'm starting to get low blood sugar. I'm feeling all woo-loo-loo. I want to see if I can find that balanced eco mode and just show you one educational thing in this video, if possible. You can get AMD drivers. Just get it from, not Afterburner. Now I'm thinking Afterburner because I just said that. AMD Adrenaline. Just get it from Adrenaline. You can just download Adrenaline. It will tell you when you update it. Which is where you can do all your AMD controlling stuff like FSR, integer scaling. It's like the good version of GPU control panels. I don't know how to get into BIOS on a Asus motherboard, by the way. Come on, baby. Why does this have such a slow post time? Jeez. ASUS. Or maybe it's that weird. Because I don't have any drivers installed. It's probably that. I don't have any drivers installed properly right now. No, that was too fast. I think I said F2. Oh, I got it. Jeez. That was really fast. Okay. So that was a super slow freaking boot. Holy crap. Asus motherboards. My God. The same system with MSI was quicker. Again, no drivers installed. No BIOS updates. This is like a raw dogging situation as Autotech. It fixed itself as was said previously. So I'm looking for balanced eco mode. I don't know where it is. It's probably in advanced. And I want to show you what I'm talking about here if I can find it. Ah, man. Asus. I don't remember. I've done it on Asus. It's just been so long. Where would it be in here? If anybody knows, let me know. Just where balanced eco... Let's Google it. Where is balanced eco mode? Asus BIOS. MetPrism, I'll send you. I'll show it on Discord. If I put it in here, it'll nuke it. It's EBuy7, EBUY7, but there's different sellers. I'll try to find it for you. Look through your BIOS's various menus to find the eco command. Yeah, that can help me. I don't know. It's in here somewhere. I think it's in here. I don't remember. I'm not that from. I don't remember Asus that well. It's been so long. No, don't exit. It's been so long. Voltage monitor. It's not in there. Configuration. No, it is in. I can't remember where it is. PBS. Temperature monitor. No, this is not what I want. Oh, I keep going to boot. Jeez, that's why. It's like repeatedly going to the same thing. This is the fan stuff. AIO pump speed, no. We're going to turn that back to not ignore. I'm going to go back to monitor. Okay, that's good. Voltage monitor, it's not in here. I don't remember where eco mode is on the Asus thing. That's what I'm looking for right now because I want to show you guys how effective you can get the thing to be. It's obviously not in monitor. Maybe it's in advanced. It's got to be in advanced then. Core performance boost, it's fine. And not in here. It's not in there. Not in there. APM? I don't think it's in there. Nope. USB, PCI, nope. CPU configuration. I didn't see it in here, but maybe it is in here. Balanced eco mode, nope. Not in there. Not in there. All right, we're going to have to... Oh, maybe it's an overclocking, even though it's underclocking. Manual CPU overclocking, no. I want preset balanced eco mode. There it is. It's an overclocking, but technically I'm underclocking. Okay, so back to my ramblings, because people didn't leave during my bout of insanity. There is auto, which is no holds barred. Let the CPU go whatever it wants. I don't remember how many watts. I probably should have looked. But I think it was like 240 watts. There's 105 watts, which is balanced eco mode, and then there's full-blown eco mode 65 watts on this CPU here. Based on Gamers Nexus tests, I decided to try it. Gamers Nexus did a full video on it, and I can confirm their results. I've done a lot of testing on it. I just haven't made videos about it. But if you go to 105 watts on balanced eco mode, you probably will see almost the exact same performance on your CPU. And things like Cinebench, it will run much quieter. It will run much cooler. The fans will be quieter. The other advantage is if you have a shitty cooler, like maybe like an AS120, it's not a shitty cooler, but like a weaker cooler, like a one single fan, AS120 or something, smaller heat sink. You don't want to put a ton of money into a cooler. You may be able to actually get the performance you'd get on a much larger cooling solution because you're not using as many watts. So you're almost like unlocking performance with it like a weaker cooler. In my case, what I want to do later, you can't see this maybe, but there's a little button there and I'll switch it to silent mode. This fan will run nearly silent as a result, even under load. And because I'm in balanced eco mode, it will run much quieter. And now we have to wait for the system to boot because I forgot how unbelievably slow these Asus motherboards are. Hopefully the BIOS will fix it. And I think if I remember correctly, because I had this motherboard when AM5 came out, and it was super, super slow. And then I think the BIOS decreased the boot time by like 90%. So I'm not going to go too hard on Asus. But also it's Asus. Yeah, so MetPrism, it goes by, so that $1.70 US, because I also buy it in US dollars. That's like a base price, and then you select the size of the sheet that you want. And then what they do is they charge you after. It's really weird. They charge you after the fact. So make sure you look up, like you can go into the drop-down menu, look at the size of the sheet that you want, and even when you check out, it might charge you like $1.70. Then they actually email you. The company will email you and say, okay, here's the cost of that sheet. Please click this link, and you use PayPal. It's not like sketchy. Then you pay like whatever, like $20 for a massive ass sheet or something like that. It's a little weird when you check out. It's not cheap. A big sheet like this, maybe that's a little big. Maybe like 3 inches by 4 inches would probably cost you about $20 or $30. That's a lot of CPUs though, realistically. But just be aware, it's a little weird when you use that website. I can help you on Discord later if I can figure it out. Yes, Iron Maiden AM5 does take longer to boot up than Intel. Absolutely. Not that long. I think that's a BIOS. It still, like Intel's like you press the button, it's turned on. But AM5 does take longer. Yes, absolutely. Plus I have 64 gigabytes of RAM and I don't have it up in my BIOS. What I want to show you here though is now I'm on balanced decom, 105 watts. I don't think we're going to lose much performance on the CPU. No throttling. We're at 62 degrees. You can't see my screen, can you? I guess maybe you can. We're at 65 degrees, 62 degrees. We were throttling hard. The fan was super noisy. The mic is close. You might have actually picked it up. It was like, and look at the scores. We were at 636 or so. We're at 34. So we went from 36 or 37,000 in Cinebench down to 34. That is 5 to 10% performance, 5 to 10% performance drop at way less watts, and we're not even close to throttling. So now I can put my little fan here into silent mode. You might be thinking that you can hear the fan, but it's basically silent. You're actually probably hearing my laptop, which is over there. So if you get yourself a 7950X, put it into balanced eco mode, 105 watts, you can get almost 100% of the performance, like 97% of the performance, 95, somewhere around there. And realistically, you're going to be getting a significantly quieter system. So that's really nice. So hopefully that's something you guys learned from me today. I'm not going to do too much video, any gaming in this one, just because it's been like 3 hours. I built 2 systems. But I might actually do a stream just messing around with this all AMD Advantage. If anyone cares, when I'm bored, I'll do it. So that's fine, Iron Maiden. I'm super boring. I was just like building a machine for 3 hours. So yeah, it works. And it only took me 3 times to figure out where the pin went. Probably going to head out though. We'll do some gaming later, but I got to set up all the drivers. The cables are screwed up. I got to fix Burnsy's buddy's system because I'm sending it to him. But that's the thing. I basically just built a MSI 7900 XTX Red Devil Behemoth, $1,000 Canadian, CPU, blah, 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 blah. And then the buddy over there is going to get the MSI one. It'll be real nice. When's the Doom stream? Doom 1? Doom 1 is RTX now, bro. You're going to be pressing my 7900 XTX to the limit with those RTX streams. Long system could be memory dying. No, Pixel. In this case, part of it is AMD does take longer to boot, but realistically, it's the BIOS. This is a fresh system out of the factory and not like a brand new motherboard, like brand new model. So this has like the early AM5 issue. Once I update the BIOS, it'll boot 40 times faster. So yeah, all right, guys. Thanks for checking in, for hanging out. That was a long stream. I built 2 systems in 2 hours, and I spent an hour trying to get this thing to turn on. I guess that's how it works. All right, talk to you guys later. Hello to everybody, and good night, and goodbye.